Packed up, ingredients stacked up, my laptop downloaded their military cookbook PDF. Elements, everyday chemicals at my reach. Household bleach to extract the potassium chlorate. Boiling on a hot plate with hate, recipe for disaster. Plastic bomb blaster, I mix up 5 parts wax to Vaseline. Slowly dissolving gasoline, add to potassium in a large metal bowl. Heat like dough, so they leave real slow. Gasoline evaporates, cool dry place. I'm strapped up, cross my chest, bomb belt attached. Deeply satisfied with the plan I hatch. Electrodes connected to a gas cooker lighter. Switch in my hand, the situation demands self-sacrifice, hitting back a vice with a £50 price. Numb, but the hurt is gone. Gonna build a dirty bomb, use this privilege and education. My PhD will free me, made off the ruskies from weapons grade uranium. Taught myself skills from Pakistan, Iran, upgraded in stage 2 of the plan. Rage, a thermonuclear density gauge, stolen by the Chechens from a base in Georgia. I get some cobalt 60 from a foodie radiator. So easy to send the infidels to their creator. It takes a dirty mind to build a dirty bomb. Simplicity is numbing, genius is dumbing down the situation to a manageable level. To make the world impossible to live for these devils. A suitcase of Semtex, a mobile phone trigger. Blow them all to hell for $1 million figure. I'm a legitimate scientist, paid by the government with your finances. I got a private room in the White House suite, so I can develop according to presidential brief. The Megatron, Don Gulf War veteran, foremost proponent of the neutron bomb. At the center, atomic, surrounded on all sides, wrapped in layers of lithium deuteride. The bomb detonates, causing lithium to fission into helium, tritium, neutrons into fission. The blast causes shockwaves that melt body fat. Uniquely though, they leave the buildings intact. I made the 25 mega bomb daisy cutter, a great blast radius with very little clutter. There's less radiation, so you get a cleaner bomb. Sure money, people, it costs $1 billion.
Mid-City, Los Angeles. Your cover centigrade on the keyboard. Working away. Focus, you got subtitle. I gotta go to work so I can work it out. Come on, computer, make it work. Come on, satellite, work with me. I gotta go to work so I can work it out. Come on, computer, make it work. Come on, satellite, work with me. I gotta go to work. Who would have thought that I was starter these jerks? The first full-time clock and serial microphone rocker. They used to jump on the stage back in the day wearing a stocking. To conceal my identity in any stereotypical venue. Never will I reveal the serious way that I feel. I'm on job time, all I do is talking to the steel. Use my style to hide and conceal. Profile every guy while they smile and just say that I'm real. That look strikes in 3, all of you will agree. I didn't have a heat shield, they rained triplicate on me. But it's squares versus circles, then and if you can compare front and back are differentiated by a 90-degree square circle. If you know what I'm talking about, you know the code, work it out. Forced entry, I was disguised as a sentry. I gave not a care, life is an adventure to me. I obtained secret money and manufacture inventions, fracturing the line between space and time dimensions. Restructure the torque and the structural integrity, so I can walk on water while the returning surface tension. This making me an acolyte of the greater unknown. The word shark, king of these murky seascapes. Within my patriarch society, you cannot dethrone the intricate degree and climate that I seize from the police state. I gotta go to work so I can work it out. Come on, computer, make it work. Come on, satellite, work with me. I gotta go to work so I can work it out. Come on, computer, make it work. Come on, satellite, work with me. I still wish they made more girls like me, intelligent, beautiful, and looks like but they don't, so I stay fucked up like King Keeper. She's the type of person that will still rock Latigua. I'm the type of person that will still sport feelers. I found this pair of size 15s out in Pasadena. Those are my work boots. I insert this into these jerks' necks, giving them a virus. They'll destabilize their hardware. Now I can tap in just to my onboard wet works. Plant the hidden charge there. It's a cellular reconfiguring program consisting of integers, turning human beings into kindling, whittling the psyche into apparition, place it back into the skin. Now it's the ghost in the shell. Should I boast? Well, no. I stay on the west coast of hell, where hell's bullets is I know so well. I have my work cut out for me. This has its perks. Just then I realized life is mostly hard work. And why not get your car pulled off under you? It won't get sorted back from that dumb desk clerk. And who's the one to suffer you? I didn't know what to do, so when in doubt, go to work. When I'm 25, I'll contract myself out once I'm through. Then it's just books and beats for me. I leave the rapping to my crew. I'm a good scientist and a world got cuckoo. Imagine how it is to watch them turn crazy around you and then look over at you like you are the insane one. That's how it is. It's okay to meet the controversy bubbles and flattens out like this. Left by little kids. And I've got to go to work so I can work it out. Come on, got to work for me. Come on, got to make it work. I've got to make it work. Come on, I can work it out. I've got to make it work. Come on, let it work this way. Come on, let it work it work. Come on, jiggle.
Greetings. I am Space Ghost. Whatever. My first guest is...
Space Ghost.
What?
Space Ghost.
What, Zorak?
Space Ghost.
What?
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 Nothing.
I see.
And I'll just float this by and see how it feels on you guys. But one of the things I read in the samurai manual, is by this guy named Tsunetomo, and he says one thing. He says all you have is your present means to achieve what you want at this moment.
Say, to be or not to be, that's Shakespeare, isn't it?
Yeah, I said that God can change the future.
We have a clip from that, but we're not going to show it. Do you think kids named Mobley are secretly planning crimes against the world? Here. Okay. Do you have enough air?
Well, you tell me.
I'm getting it all right.
When you experience the world, okay? Mm-hmm. Okay, when you experience the world, right? Can you just imagine whatever the fuck you want? Or is it based on something that's already in existence?
Sure it wasn't. This is all a conspiracy.
Nothing is totally predetermined. I think it's a mystery how we are able to act on behalf of our own volition.
All those years and you forgot the words?
It's not me who sins, but it's the sin living in me.
What?
ragtag rebel armies of alarming proportions, grenade launching, fearless little orphans, fully dipped clerics who throw the wind caution, intel operatives who instigate holy wars and tiptoeing at Fort Detrick on an each and no basis with derelict new contagious enzymes to play with, cause a well-educated, prosperous nation is dangerous. Walt Disney Kingdom, where history comes in two flavors, blood soaked in the blood stains cleaned up with detergent later. Excuse me, Miss Liberty, I don't mean to be misogynist, but put some lipstick on a green lip, cause the truth ain't a pretty bitch. In the US, even Martin Luther King kept a gun in the crib. So whether you a clueless bastard with no relations, or more tonight with genealogy of King David, you witnessing the logistics of a gun-running operation by big model policy makers. Intricate surveillance next to the crib placed by proxy administration, funded by drug money pushed out of US air bases. S&B time, hollow mountain shadow op, nanobots who make remote control parts of global hall. Double triple agents who leave how to fly books in glove box, and drunken moments left holy Korans in city strip spots. Bloom CNS, the phenomenon of arbitrage, heavy burden around the neck, depending what side the coin fall. And my old-fashioned nickel studs are always draw hard. Bloom CNS, the phenomenon of arbitrage, heavy shit around the neck, depending what side the coin fall. And my old-fashioned nickel slugs are always try hard. Mountains of atrocities as hard as the Acropolis. A vulture wretched skeletal wingspan screaming, no one is stopping me. Legions of minions ready to mar themselves for college money. Republican dummy, besieged with fanatical cherub Enoch says the coronation of King James pontificating. Sistine Chapel look like Irana's boss paintings, where if you look closely, you can see ghostly images of Norval or 9/11 wargaming. Cold-hearted killers, you like tear ducts in a broken mirror. Haunted face appears in Judas in the form of Zell Miller quoting Hitler, who once said the bigger the lie, the more people likely to believe it. So nowadays these rappers spit vagina monologues, cause most of them are way too pussy to say shit. Hell man, you can never ever be God, no matter how intricate you paint yourself in his image. You're just waging advanced forms of barbaric tribalism. That's the stupidity war that man is never winning. So gather the women and children, prophets, priests, and Eman from the forgotten books of Eden. Warn treachery would stem from the presidency and all the kingsmen. So close your eyes if you're squeamish. It's about to get sick. Freedom warrior here, meaning it's good time to eat it. So G-Man, start the deprogramming sequence. Bloom CNS, the phenomenon of arbitrage, heavy shit around the neck, depending what side the coin fall. On my old-fashioned nickel slugs, so I'll always try hard.
Greetings. Welcome to the Machine Lies, where we talk about the lies of the machine on the machine that lies. I'm just opening up a show here, talk about some preliminary issues in terms of announcements for the channel. You know, I got the link for the other channel here. Let me go ahead and try to see if I could post this link. If you guys want to go and subscribe, and I'll also say at the end of the episode as well, I know we've been not out here for a while. You know, we took a little extended break, you know, because of some of the censorship on the channel. So, you know, that's just a routine thing. You know, we still have all the tapes, you know, so it's not a big deal here. But yeah, thank you guys for joining us here at this late time, you know, yeah, blessings to all who are here with us. But yeah, you know, we're going to talk about some preliminary issues here in terms of technology, or the technological society, you know, basically the reason why we started this show. So if nobody joins the panel, we'll continue to, you know, expand on different works and critiques that I think are important. Now, I did have some interesting interactions online in terms of technology. You know, maybe we'll view some of those at the end of this production here. So we'll also have some of that. But you know, I've been having some interesting interactions online. You know, so It's been a fun time talking to the people online, but very little progress has been made through that, obviously. So there is that factor there. But yeah, we've been rocking out, doing some things, and also trying to write some things, and field some questions from some of our dear friends, and correspond with people offline, in terms of trying to um, build a maybe a small network of maybe people who are willing to contribute time and energy to the enterprise in question. But it's not a big time um, commitment, really. I don't have any kind of plan. This is just kind of freewheeling and dealing here in terms of what we're bringing. But there is a factor of the technological society. It's a fact that everybody takes for granted. That's why we came here. It's because the median has become the message in a very sort of horrifying fashion, uh, to the extent that we've faced a complete externalization of the ego through these mediums of communication. So there's also this type of sense in which that there's a acceleration in terms of there's the emergence of new forms of culture. There's a sort of monoculture emerging from the technological scope, which envelops the world at this point. There's a communication between the cities of the planet in terms of technology, and cities are the hub of technology, right? They're the hub of also the international markets, right? So there's this great push in terms of world economy, and pretty soon there's going to be a world health system as well. So they're developing new ways for to catalog information in terms of a new world health system. So there's many foreseeable dangers of the technological system. You have the growth of AI and a lot of these other types of things. And the growth of these medians basically represents the growth of the central arm. Large scale technologies, they need more bureaucratic arms, they need regulatory agencies, right? So we have this problem, right, in terms of the growth of government linked to the spread of technology, right? We have the merging of technology in the state. You have the fourth branch of government, which is the media, right? Because the internet, of course, is developed by the DARPA, right? So it's one of the most proficient spy tools ever invented. And this is exactly what we're seeing. Anybody who believes that we're here to just freely communicate, doesn't really understand what is, what has just been said, or uttered by me, for example. But, in terms of our other projects and themes, we try to get people in on the dangers of innovation, right? The dangers of innovation, right? The myth of progress, right? The pseudo eschatology of progress, pseudo sort of, that comes from this other idea, right? If there is progress, then there has to be teleology in nature, right? And that suggests some very deep questions to be answered and proposed, right? Questions that nobody wants to deal with. Everybody takes for granted, innovation and change. Is change a good thing, right? Is progress a good thing? Is innovation a good thing? Innovation is a double-edged sword, right? It presents many dangers, right? Look at the intro music, right? So many problems it seeks, right? Knowledge is, in a sense, right, the ability to harm, right? So in that way, all of the libraries of the world, right, are also places that can be used to develop weapons, right? So, you give somebody information, right? And,
the information, right, may be neutral. Knowledge is neutral, right? But technology is not neutral. Technology is designed for an end or purpose, right? And it's ever improving its own design, right? Through the understanding of efficiency and increased specialization, right? So, so there is this danger of efficiency and innovation as well. So we have lots of these issues, and these problems are dealing with how the system itself functions, right? Technological change is about the objective factors of power in our age as well, right? Right. Technology is power, right? In a sense, right? So we have to understand that in that sense, right? Since we are interdependent in terms of the growth of technology, right? And susceptible to changes within that growth, right? We are all, in a sense, technological slaves, right? And that is kind of where we've come to, folks. So I hope you appreciated that framing of the issues and themes, right? In terms of the machine lies, right? The understanding of artifice, right? Auto hoax, right? We already understand that what we're seeing is not true, right? So is what we're seeing on a wall or a screen, right? Right? Is it filter or filler, right? Is what we have to ask ourselves, right? See, in a window, right, you could see uh, a reality that you're separated from, right? But the reality that you see outside of the window is true, right? Right? What appears on a screen or a wall, a projection of something, right? That may not be real, right? So we have to question what we see, right? Right? And there's the idea of prosopone, or the mask that we all inhabit, you know? So that mask is part of this sense of mediation, the externalization of the ego, right? Emptying out ourself through the medians and tools we use. I was just telling someone on panel that was saying that these internet circles have been ways for us to expand and amplify our own illnesses, right? Our own mental inconsistencies and all these types of things, right? That this is a new form of mental illness, right? And I was sympathetic to the point, but only in the sense that all tools consist of mediation of means and ends, and in that way they all consist in an externalization of the ego through the means they inhabit, right? I mean, look at how we have become depersonalized, right? A message sent through a text is more depersonalized than a phone call, right? Which is more depersonalized than a face-to-face meeting, right? Each step you're enveloping more through the technological malaise, right? A sense of somatic detachment, right? And we have the post-geological attachment, right? And we have a temporal detachment, right? Our temporal detachment comes from, a sort of time dilation, right? Everything speeds up because of innovation and change, right? It's brought on faster and faster, right? So everything speeds up, right? So this means that there's more boredom, right? Because there's more of a chance to go and experience something else. This is escapism, right? And then there's a foggy sense of detachment that comes from this post-geological feeling and this post-human feeling, right? In which, where we have to mediate ourselves, right, through these mechanical means, and we ourselves, right, our actions become machine-like, so we become like machines, right? We behave like machines, NPCs, as some would call it, right? So there's these many factors in terms of the temporal dislodgement, right? There's ideas of the future which never really come to fruition, these lost futures, right? This is a spectral change, right? Of something that hasn't yet come to pass, yet defines who we were, right? Yet also a return to a greatness of the past, right? Like a return to the Enlightenment or the Renaissance is one way, right? A return to the great civilizations of the past is another term, right? The time of the Nephilim, right? Okay, right. Anyways, there's this time of technological growth, whether it be Atlantis or the Renaissance, right? People seek an archaic revival, right? This dislodges our sense of time, right? Now, there's many ways in which we've become encapsulated within this matrix of, both temporal and spatial disillusionment, right? Okay, so that's important to note, right? Anyways, let's take a look at some of the primary thinkers who encapsulated this malaise, in terms of their thought and reflections, right? We got some of the people who influenced, right, the writings of Dr. Kaczynski, right? We always, or we've done lots of specials recently on the writings of Dr. Kaczynski, and his views on the technological system. And we're going to be looking more at some of the thoughts of Jacques Ellul, who influenced Dr. Kaczynski, right? So we've kept an eye. We've studied Jacques Ellul, right? And finally, we're going to look at and correspond with Dr. Skrbina, who we are students of in terms of all of this, right? In terms of finding out what's going on with all of those writings and themes and what is the whole understanding of creativity and metaphysics, right? So that is a whole nother question, right? There's a question in which technology functions on a metaphysical plane, right? Why? Right? A, because nature is technology and is created by a divine force, a creator, right? Okay. Secondly, right, because creativity is both mental, ideas and physical processes, right? So it is the one thing that actually combines, right, in a sense, the material with the immaterial. And you see this in the development of the writings of Aristotle, right? So, there is that whole question. But yeah, let's go to this, biographical information laid out about Jacques Ellul, right? I'll find out more about Jacques Ellul, and please hit the link if you guys want to join the panel. Thank you so much. Let's go through the chat here and see who's out here for us. I know there won't be that many people here, but yeah, thank you guys so much. Apocalypse Theory, what's going on? What's happening, Holmes? Feel free to hit the link. Joe Mills, what's going on, brother? Orange, and we won't be here that long today because we're doing a full show tomorrow. So please tune in tomorrow. This is just an announcement, right? Orange, what's up? TW, what's going on, Holmes? Arpo, what's happening, brother? Yeah, for sure. Good or not, we are at the time of grow or lose control. That's right. Yeah, Jack Slaw, what's up, homie? Can you ask the grown to let go of the real and take the fake? Yeah, that's right. The child starts less with the game. Yep. And so much truth telling going on in here. Not one of you would ever admit white people are obsessed in the West by their government. Everyone just goes with the lie, racial communism. Well, and we got corporate socialism, right? Yeah, it's a problem. The Europeans invented this idea of the autocratic state, but everyone around the world has now adopted it, right? So that's a problem, right? That's right. Jacques Ellul. Let's get to him. Jacques Ellul, right? The technological society, the technological order, and the technological bluff. 3 writings by Jacques Ellul, also his writing on propaganda, right? Okay, very important writings, right? Techniques that become necessary, right, in a age, right, of mass psychology, right, and of the autocratic state, which is the precursor to the technological state, right? Let's go to Ellul, right, who actually talked about technique, not just technology, technique. Okay, folks, right? He said that there's a how to for everything, right? It's not the what, it's not the science of something, right? It's not the science of something, right? But it's the application of knowledge about a particular subject, right? 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 Techne, skill, logos, right? Knowledge, right? According to Aristotle, right? So technology is partly concerning technique or the enframing of knowledge. Right now, techniques are not the same thing as sciences, right? Right? Technique is like a how-to guide rather than a what is, right? Right? And philosophy is the why is, right? So all of these are different aspects of knowledge, right? So anyways, technique, right, guides scientific discovery, right? That's a bona fide fact, right? Right? Just as symbols rule over language, right? Technique rules over science, right? Anyways, let's look at Ellul, right?
Everybody, I would like to introduce you.
And I apologize for the commercial interruptions. You know, there's probably lots of looks like 219 subscribers. There's probably lots of you know, commercials in here, you know, so we'll just go to this. And I'll have to play it at a normal volume because the fella has a very deep French accent. So he's a French author and scholar. So we'll have to listen quite carefully. You know, but this is a Jonathan Pajot interview with Christian Roy, right? A scholar on biographical information about Jacques Ellul. Very interesting, right? Okay, and anyways.
Christian Roy. Christian is an independent scholar. He has written a book on traditional festivals, which you can probably see just behind us here. He is on the International Jacques Ellul Society board. So he's an.
Hold on, we have a guest here. Let's get this guy on here. Hey, what's going on, my friend? Greetings, Brother Joe.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going, friend? Hey, you doing okay today?
Yeah. Is the mic working?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, what's going on, my friend? I'm just doing a short stream here, but it's good to finally talk to, speak with you. You know.
Yeah, good to meet you. I'm just testing the Streamlabs thing. It's working okay.
Yeah, it's working. It's working pretty nice. Yeah, we can hear you just fine as well. So yeah, thank you so much for joining. And I mean, please take your time. Don't feel rushed to, you know, play some Coltrane here.
Yeah. I'm going to leave studio and let you talk and continue, and then I might come back later. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much, Joe Mills. Yeah, take your time and work it out. And I'll also be streaming tomorrow night, you know. So yeah, thank you so much, brother. You know, yeah, take your time with you know, figuring out your issues there. Yeah, blessings, brother. You know.
Thank
you. Good afternoon.
or good evening, Cyber.
What's going on, brother? You doing okay?
Nothing
You don't
much.
mind if I play Coltrane, do you?
No, doesn't matter.
Okay.
I'm actually close near the Coltrane Church in San Francisco.
Oh, okay. Is that the
The Church of
Ethiopian
God.
Toahito?
Yeah, the Church of John Coltrane is right around the block in San Francisco.
Okay, yeah.
The one and only.
Yeah. Yeah, they actually play him at the Ethiopian church, the Toahito church services, you know? It's actually interesting, yeah. Yeah. His music is for the canonical services there. So, yeah, technology, the application of scientific knowledge to the practical aims of human life, as it is sometimes phrased, to change and manipulation of the human environment. Yeah, pretty much. You know, although the manipulation of the human environment part, I mean, you know, it's kind of interesting. I mean, technology, as much as it manipulates nature, it starkly changes it, right? We create from what's already there, right? We have to, you know. So, you know, with little understanding of what actually is there. So that's what I mean by, you know, technique rules over science, right? And it kind of guides it. It's technology that guides science and culture, you know. And you see this with the development of liberalism. You know what I mean?
I would look at technology in an artistic way where technology is also helping the arts, but most artists can't or don't know when it comes. Only when somebody makes the leap and finally uses technology to their advantage. Such as the ideal that now that there's TikTok, everyone can make independent films on their smartphone camera, which has really only been around for a decade. And the concept of film is now rectangle because of that. It's a new paradigm. The older generation isn't conflicted with that because they were paying attention to a different era. And so as technology advances, the artist has to make use of new mediums. And that some of it can be easy, some of it can be innovative, but it's always going in the line of progressively making things a little more easier, or to create a meld and to produce things which were not possible before.
Yeah, and I think on that line, you know, and it's actually the video game Minecraft, which made me think of this, is like this merger of functionality and aesthetic, because the world is made out of the same blocks that you make other things with, right?
Voxel.
So it's like, you know,
Voxel theory. Like, everything's a cube.
Yeah, you know, everything's a cube instead of an atom. You know what I mean, right? It's more technologically sound that way. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
It's better to look at a first, and then when you look at it, it's a first-person game, virtual reality. You build the blocks, create. It's almost everything has become Lego-fied, and the game somewhat becomes trying to get to the netherworld to beat the last level boss till you get that technological advantage. But then every other time, it could just be a role-playing game where you're in, you know, Discord, cubic, ethno-nationalist society built by cubes. And that game's only been around for a decade as well as two. I mean, today, I guess Epic now has Fortnite, which is basically Minecraft with guns. So,
yeah, it's interesting that the Sandlot aesthetic and the whole, you know, open source aesthetic, you know, it's kind of like drawing on the same, like, basic understanding, right?
Yeah, because Fortnite is just Minecraft, but instead of cubes, you have guns, and you're pretty much in a giant island where you have houses, do everything what you would do in Minecraft, but there's also now a shooter game with it too. So it's hybridizing genres together. So not just virtual reality, but there's a huge passion of building things within a Second Life mind frame.
Well, it's interesting, the explosion of subgenres, you know, which, you know, in terms of the whole William Gibson, you know, like worldview, it's like kind of, you know, has a relation to urban sprawl, you know, like how they have these urban centers where you have this like weird cultural niche emerge, you know, and that's akin to all of these subgenres, you know, on the internet. You know what I mean, right?
Right.
Because as internet communities grow, you know, they.
I mean,
like
Alexander Dugan in his talk with Tucker the other night even said, "Listen, what's going to happen is that transhumanist technology will isolate everyone else in their own little private space. Not just safe spaces, it's basically an answer to most conflicts what the elites are doing. So they are putting people in virtual reality spaces. So you give a space for the white nationalists, you give space for the socialists. What matters is everyone just jacked in.
Yeah, peace to Annapurna, and thank you again, Joe, for joining. Blessings, brother. You know, and yeah, peace to Canuck. You know, I hear you, Canuck. You know, yeah, liberalism with the lowercase L. You got it, brother. You know, I wouldn't be trying to.
But I think technology also well goes with the theory of game design. And I'm talking about game design without computers, because so much of virtual reality needs lines of C++ code in order to operate in that matrix. But outside of computers, game design is just board and card games and sports that's been around since humans have been playing Senate or rolling dice and playing Pachisi or something like that. And if you think about that in those terms, then design is the most important aspect of technology, where how does it function? And so this kind of gets into this weird conspiracy theory. There's this German engineer by the name of Dieter Rams, and Dieter Rams is very controversial. It's because Steve Jobs and everyone at Apple was aware of his designs, where Rams was pro-elegance, meaning minimal as possible, but multiple complexities. So Rams would be creating minimal vinyl players, calculators, kitchen hardware, and all you did was press a button. And this button is kind of like a BF Skinner box, where I want the dopamine hit, press the button. And so Steve Jobs kind of hijacked Dieter Rams' ideology in order to put the elegant interface in all Apple products, which now kind of rules us with the whole smartphone dopamine hitting that we see now. And there's this obsession in the design world through the post-Dieter Rams ideology that everything must be quote-unquote elegant, as long as everything is a Skinner box. So that's the bad aspect of technology, where it's just creating very weird social control mechanisms and making sure things are as easy as possible for the most dumbest people to get results for something else, rather than the complexities.
Yeah, and I like that you use this term complexity, because it also links to this superfluity, and that deals with this thing of functionality and aesthetic, and also this thing of efficiency. You know, because like they want to create artificial needs but make them the most efficient, and that adds a layer of complexity that people don't really see. But then, you know, there's also this understanding of elegance and efficiency. So
Right.
efficiency gets linked to elegance, and that's where art basically becomes this fucking, you know, like monoculture.
There's an American guy named Don Norman called The Design of Everyday Things. And in his book, he was observing Dieter Rams, but kind of putting an Americanized twist to it. That book was also picked up to a lot of these so-called elegance people. So the reason why I tie this back in is because game design is kind of, or at least new game design, is kind of linked with this social control DLC Skinner boxing. And sometimes it invades board games as well, because I know the chat is talking about role-playing games now. Because if you look today, like nobody wants to really do role-playing games because you need people, you don't need a computer, you need a game master. You know, today it's like people would rather be in Fortnite virtual reality. But what makes some of those other games really interesting, some of the older role-playing games, is that there was kind of a design integrity where smart people would read complex rules and initiate a good design where you have possibilities. It's fun and game design to do so, but as well, it's also smart. It isn't just like hedonistic fun, like, okay, do drugs, get hookers, whatever. No, it's more intellectual pleasure. And I think that's also another fallacy, is resorting down to everything being fun, quote unquote, because that's how the Skinner box gets you. And so I think in games like Vampire the Masquerade, and I remember the card game, it was really different from Magic the Gathering, because in the card game, you need at least three players, not just two. And in the game, you'd be constantly voting in the democracy. So the game became more about politics than anything. So, of course, dumb people are not going to play it. You're not going to get your McDonald's cheeseburger through that, because Vampire the Masquerade is going to require some level of diplomacy, politician, intellectual politics.
That's so interesting because games are like video games are always something that I'd want to do alone, and it was a reflection of the types of games I played, because it was always like Zelda or some shit where it'd be like one dude, or like Max Payne or some shit where it'd be like one dude on a storyline, you know, where you have that didactic shift, you know. But like lately it's become like this movie with buttons. But like the thing with the old games, you know, like, you know, there's a lot more dexterity to them, and I think you know, what's gone away is the ability to play them with others, you know. But you know, there's more of a like it's like you play them alone, but you go online to play them. So that's so much reflective of so many other things.
Evil
like
advocates of this game design control include Raphael Koster, who basically tried to create this weird American liberal, calls it a feminist society through virtual reality. It actually talks about this in lecture halls. His name's Raphael Koster. It's kind of alarming because it's kind of the American liberal ideal foisted upon people through game design. And that's kind of like why we had Gamergate, you know, as a revolt of that. And it's true, you can't call a game if it has zero influence. If it's just a movie with buttons, then it's just a novel with one lurking way. There's no influence. There always, the story will be about black lesbians, no matter how much the reader looks into it. And it's not a game, because a game doesn't have goals. I mean, it doesn't have like predetermined goals. It has high chance. So games are not puzzles, and games are a form of play that people set the rules in order to have a high level of intellectual leisure to it. The more dumber things are, then dumb people play it, and that's how you socially control people. But if you make smart games for smart people, the system doesn't like that, because not everyone's going to be playing diplomacy, because diplomacy is a high IQ game, while, you know, most simplistic game of Candy Crush on your phone, they got you.
Yeah, that's interesting stuff, and especially since you know, like the games in the past, you know, were like, you know, mainly due to, I guess you can compare it to sports in a way, and now they have sports championships for video games. So I think that is a pretty interesting development, that there's almost like you could have a sport for everything. And people have sports for intellectual debates, blood sports debates, you know, and
the
it's
gamification
just
of everything.
Yeah, it's kind of very, very interesting gamification of almost every single aspect of life.
Now it's like winners and losers, but the problem is, here's the thing: a game is a place where you go to basically have some level of leisure through it, right? And how that leisure is determined, whether that's fun, sadism, boredom, it's not the same as everyone else's. So a game is not an egalitarian form, and that's the real issue. I mean, this is what Jordan B. Peterson brings up against Destiny. When Destiny says life's a game, and Peterson looks the weird way, and he's like, why would you say that? Because if everything's a game to you, then you can't take the serious stuff with sincerity, because you think running an economy is a game. You think dating is a game. That's a problem, because there's no commitment. It's constant irony. But I think that's very intelligent that some of these so-called life is a game idiots can't explain what a game is. They just want to basically be hedonists. They're covering it through play, which they hardly understand. And I think everything's some kind of bizarre follow the rules puzzle and not truly a game. And plus, what their games they like happen to entail movies with black lesbians in it.
Yeah, I wanna point to this guy, Huizinga. Have you ever heard of Huizinga? Johan Huizinga?
You're at the Magic Circle.
right? You know what I mean, right? And
Yeah, so
and
he's
this
talking
whole,
about the magical circle. So when you enter the magic circle, people have
you
created
know,
a game in that circle.
isn't that basically like you know, like this whole concept of homo ludens and this concept of the jester, you know, the court jester, you know what I mean?
So according to
so-
Huizinga theory, me being on the Machine Live show, I've predetermined some rule set in my subconscious mind, and you're the game master, and we're only existing in the game without subconscious awareness. That's like a part of Huizinga theory.
right.
Another guy I liked was a French guy named Roger Cailloux. Cailloux or Calloy. He had a book called Man Playing Games.
How do you spell
Roger,
that?
So it's Callous, Callois, but it's pronounced Cailloux in French. Just write Man Playing Games. That's
Okay, Man Playing Games. Okay, yeah, because because I'm trying to do that for the audience.
He was a well-known French philosopher, but he was also one of the first to talk about game design through critical theory. And his book, Man Playing Games, is about, why do men play games? What is play? What type of games are there? And he's also talking about how people go with design. So he'll bring up Latin words like, if I can recall, agon, which is about competition. Sometimes people prefer competition. His main point in Man Playing Games is that it's basically a philosophical understanding that games are not the same. There's different genres and different ways of thinking about the world. And the mindset that you have determines a different type of human nature that you have, right? You're not, for example, if you assume Dungeons and Dragons is all out being cooperative, then you create a soft, cuddly, conformist, passive people, right? But if you create a competitive environment in Dungeons and Dragons or in any game like playing Risk, then the main men are masculine, strong, tough, and that's a higher value. And so Cailloux points that out in Man Playing Games a lot of the time. And that's like post Huizinga.
Yeah, one of the premises I use here on the Machine Lies is that the reason why you have RIGHTS rights is because somebody took away your RITES rights, So I kind of say that as like a weird slogan. I don't know why people keep saying mirth is king. Y'all know that's a Masonic slogan with a baby sitting on a throne. Right. But anyways.
Right. But yeah, Huizinga, Cailloux, a lot of those. There was another guy I liked who was an American analytical guy named Chris Crawford. He had a book called The Art of Computer Game Design. He was one of the first to talk about how computers can create game design. Now, he's really weird because he started out as an analytical guy, Chris Crawford. He's still alive, he's in his 70s, but he slowly became what you would call a narratologist. And narratologist is a school that believes story is all that matters. And I think that's bullshit. It's not about stories, because if you're analytical, you have to believe in machines, calculations, logic, and he was once that, but I think he's just going to narratology. It's because he believes in messages or some religious ideal. I don't know, but that's Chris Crawford. But some of his early books really helped define game design in such a way to the American audience, to the analytical, and I think that has definitely influenced a generation. I think through 1980 to 2000, a lot in board game design. But yeah, Chris Crawford, he never designed a game himself. He just worked in computers. Had an astute eye about what is game design. I think he's done a good job with that, Chris Crawford.
Yeah, let me look this up. Chris Crawford. Very good. Game designer.
Right. Most of the time he's really good, but some of his new stuff is really strange because he'll talk about evolutionary psychology and liberal politics.
Yeah, I've definitely heard this name before. Alan Kay, right?
Right.
Computer scientist.
But like early Chris Crawford is really good, but like later Chris Crawford, something happens. Like Chris Crawford was the first to talk about interactivity, like why it matters. Like in other words, it can't be human and robot. It has to be humans and robots don't exist. That, I think, is a powerful statement by Crawford, which he gets, by the way, from Isaac Asimov, where Isaac Asimov is saying, listen, robots are like Jewish golems that help humanity. It's not that they rule over humanity. Humans exist, and there's just a golem. So it's a very Jewish ideal of thinking about things. But I think
it's funny you mentioned that, because I think it was Nick Bostrom, who's a prominent transhumanist. He compared AI to the golem as well. So I think it was Rabbi Akiva or something like that who like comes up with this concept of a golem. But yeah,
and Asimov, another Russian Jewish guy, compares robots, the rules of robotics, and Crawford extends upon that and says, hey, listen, we can't make game design about the golem because there's only humans, not robots ruling over humans. And so one of the big Crawford take is that interactivity, there must be another human. Interactivity is not with the machine, because a machine just, it doesn't exist. And so this goes with the whole argument that, kind of liberalism is like, no, it's the Anthropocene, meaning that there's something inherently wrong with humans, it's human supremacy. You got to downplay humans for the technological singularity. But, Crawford types, they're like, no, that's insane transhumanist liberalism. We're talking about, only humans exist. And this is within...
Well, it's funny. It's funny that the post-human ideal is linked to the hierarchy of being within the Kabbalistic system, which basically supplied the ideological framework for the theory of evolution. This whole idea of teleology in nature, and that kind of links to transhumanism, does it not? Right.
But again, I think Raphael Coster is definitely on the liberal transhumanist side, and Chris Crawford was kind of a break by saying, no, we got to think in terms of humans only, and interactivity must exist between humans. You can't have interactivity with artificial intelligence, because then that's just the self. AI is just an illusion. It's like texting in a generator and thinking you're in a dungeon, but it's just a machine creating the illusion. There has to be, and so it's pro board game, pro card game, pro sports, pro the physics.
Hey, what's going on?
Check. Is this live?
Yeah, this is live.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Hey, what's going on, friend? Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, what's up?
You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm all right. What's this show about? I just
I just started a random show. This is just about I started talking about the topic, technology, and we opened up into the ideas of games and how they develop games, and the whole spirit of games and how it's linked to technology, and I kind of mentioned the merger of functionality and aesthetic, which led us to the theories of John Huizinga, Homo ludens, and that man is the game making animal, basically, instead of a tool making animal, Homo faber. This is the other kind of idea. So just playing with different terms and ideas. I have my friend here, Pill Eater, on. He likes to talk about games. He likes to play games.
Wait a second. What did you say?
Homo people. Homo sapien.
Were you calling Gen X Jeff a homo? That has
Homo sapien. Homo ludens.
Oh, Homo sapien. Oh, sorry, I misheard that. Huizinga guy. He sounds like a weapon of war or something. Huizinga.
Some people say that he actually is the father of anthropology, which is very interesting.
Father of anthropology? Who was the wife?
Yeah, kind of the thing of that I would say would be maybe Margaret Mead or somebody like that.
I remember her. She was crazy, Margaret Mead. I remember her.
You have to look up another term called the Anthropocene, because it seems that liberals and high academia today...
I'll be right back in a minute. Hold on.
Okay.
They seem to be talking about displacing humanity as a whole with the techno AI, So they call our current age the Anthropocene, or of human supremacy, and that's somehow bad, like white privilege. So they're trying to turn white privilege into human privilege, and we must
Oh yeah,
displace humanity.
yeah. I've heard
robots.
lots of that. Yeah, I mean, it's all over the Club of Rome, like report where the guy who founded it says, and I've quoted this many times. He literally says the common enemy of humanity is man. I just think it's such a it's such a reversal of man is a measure of all things, but yet an adoption of it. I mean, in such a strange way. You know what I mean?
So back to game design, people like Raphael Coster is against the Anthropocene, while Crawford is for the Anthropocene. So there's this huge divide in how we're going to make games in the future, where video games are this kind of test between AI and humanity playing, and how you can socially control people into making them believe that robots are superior and you should just not exist, into antinatalism, while reminding people of games that games only can happen between humanity, hence the Anthropocene. So my best bet is that there will be eventually a war against games, because games are for the Anthropocene and for humanity as a whole, because you need interactivity. Once you abolish interactivity, you create puzzles, which means robots can do, and there's no more games anymore.
Yeah, and it's funny. I'm already trying to see, because the puzzle whole thing is related to occultism, right? You know what I mean? So it's like we're moving into like a more cult, like a more like an age of occult. There's mass occultism right now. So it just seems like, it's just funny how you said that from the interactivity of games to the
cold calculations of Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, to like the gnosis of like puzzles.
Yeah, the thing is, you got to remember that
we're back to the symbolic, in a way, right? We're back to the hidden, right?
A puzzle is not a game. A puzzle has problems and then it's solved, and that's it. There's nothing after it. And so robots can make calculations in computers to solve puzzles. If you assume games are puzzles, then there's no games anymore, because there's no interactivity, there's no uncertainty, there's no play. It's just cold, hard. I can beat Pac-Man to level 256 and it's over. And a machine can do that as well. And so that's the scary part, is because when we talk, there's going to be a war against game design, because game design is against that cold calculation of the puzzle. It sounds weird, but it's true. And anything that supports human arts will be an enemy against Skynet AI, pretty much.
Culture against technology, because if technology is driving culture, then the way to reverse engineer it is through cultural re-engineering. I like the plot of that whole schemata that you lay down there. I mean, I'd like to get more of your thoughts on how technology, transhumanism is linked to liberalism, as you said earlier on the Neurojack, experience.
Sure.
But
it was weird that we were.
But give me 1 second. I also want to welcome Anna Perna to the panel. Thank you for joining, Anna.
Hey, thanks for having me. Hope you got my email. Just want to make.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go check it out. I'll send you an email very soon. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. God bless you.
Sometimes it ends up in the spam, and then
yeah. I'll have to check.
You know how it is out here. Like,
well. I tried to leave a comment on my friend Pill Eater's video, and they deleted both of my comments right away. So it's funny.
That happens too. And then, there's just no real measure of integrity here on this platform. So I just wanted to make sure, because last time I had said I gave you my word on something. I think I said, I emailed you already.
Okay. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. Word is the bond, more people need to do that. And this kind of medium is skirting that, responsibility, because people can make up information, freedom of speech is freedom to lie, as I always say, so there's some of that going on,
Right. Yeah. And so I just want to clarify that. But this is a great topic. I caught it. I caught your summary of everything. So I'm caught up to speed. If Pill Eater wants to continue talking.
Well, we're just earlier today, we were watching Tucker talk to Dugan for only 20 minutes, which is peculiar. And Dugan kind of just told the American audiences, hey, listen, you have to think why there's a difference between G7 and BRICS is because this is the really interesting part. He talks about individualism, which then exacerbates liberalism, which then creates a collective force, which then, in his book, The Fourth Political Theory, you get liberalism, capitalism, communism, fascism, and then he says there's a fourth way. And he says that the fourth way is going to be possible is because the enemy, which began through individual liberalism, collectivism, will just become transhumanism, or he uses the word post-human. And he says,
yeah, and it's funny that he took some of this from ideas from Gurdjieff and his idea of man as a spiritual machine, and also his idea of Eurasian politics emerging, and this whole Turkish idea. But yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, in just that
What
20
politics?
minutes.
Sorry, what politics emerging?
I believe, yeah. Go ahead, Pillator.
I'm just saying it's weird that Dugan would make comparisons to the Matrix, Terminator, and use Nick Land terminology for the American audiences. And he's almost as if he's saying, hey, listen, the enemy isn't Democrats and Republicans, it's post-humans and us, the naturalist of Russia.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, Annapurna, I was saying Eurasian politics.
Eurasian, got it. Which is right now, it's like what is?
Yeah,
I don't even
it's
want to say right now. I can't.
Yeah.
But it's all by design, though. You agree, right?
Yeah. There's vast designing and vast structuring of this type of stuff, and even on the the codification of culture and the gamification of politics. There's a lot of restructuring there, and there is an emergence in all this of a global elite and all those types of things, and there is a global government, I think, at play right now. It's just between the it's like another thing that William Gibson pretty much predicted, which is these global corporations functioning as pseudo governmental entities.
Which is the case right now, because right, correct, yeah.
And that ties into the Discordian idea of these pirate utopias. The patchwork of Mencius Moldbug and all this type of stuff. Like they're all like these like interplayed ideas that they seem to be promoted at a high level, in my opinion. But yeah, I wanted to hear that thing about humanism and liberalism before, because that was the little bit that I was so interested in.
I think here's the interesting part. I think Dugan, he said individualism first, which I would put liberalism first. But I think individualism, what he's talking about, is an evolutionary psychology thing where I guess back then, when in a cold climate environment, you had to trust another person in order to survive the winter so you wouldn't die. And hence that was the creation of individualism, which helped create parts of European civilization, which then evolved into the liberal ideal that everybody is a unique individual and you should celebrate difference of I'm an individual, whatever that means. And really this was just a mistake of evolutionary psychology interest, which became a collective notion into things like nationalism, this weird, bizarre Plato cult, as David Stone said.
Like that's what's weird about Dugan is he's got this whole Plato Gnostic cult with Plato the father and Sophia the mother and all this type of stuff. You hear about this crazy shit?
But it's true, because then you could say liberalism was infected with the Plato cult, with Plato and Socrates and Aristotle.
I think so. I think that's a very poignant remark. Yeah.
And
But
the
yeah, go
problem is, it's not a good, it's a bad. And so when people celebrate the so-called Western canon, as Dugan's pointing out, they're celebrating liberalism, which the point and the end conclusion is to basically leave the body and, you know, get technology and machines and to be something else, because you believe that the highest value is being a unique artistic individual, which is against the natural order of animals and what other societies want.
Wait, what's wrong with being highly artistic? An individual.
I don't think that he's saying it's wrong. I think that he's saying when that's the end all be all.
It's not that it's bad. I mean, it's just the ideal is that America is so proud about transgenderism, is that they're celebrating the ideal that someone is free. And that's a form of condescending liberalism. They believe that the highest virtue ethics is being this artistic, cosmopolitan, I know everything because everyone else is stupid.
I don't think that's artistic at all, to be honest. I don't see that as artistic. I'm an artist, so I don't see that as artistic whatsoever.
I mean, people make
stuff.
art. It's just there's a root of liberalism believing in this condescending order. I mean, this is just
but they would
paraphrasing
consider themselves an artist.
Transgender people just for butchering their genitals? That's being a freak. That's not being an artist.
I'm not gonna say all, but like the people that are spouting like the new canon are gonna refer to that as like a deification of humanity.
I'm just paraphrasing Dugan. I didn't make this mean argument about
what
is art.
No problem.
I'm just saying is that he just referred to artistic, quote unquote, in his words as like this.
Well, I would say they're more autistic. They're more autistic than artistic. Is what I would say.
Because when a human being does art, you know, he has a high intellectual ideal of the world. I mean, philosophers, mathematicians, you could say they're in touching in the human artistic spirit, right? If you put it in those terms, it isn't just.
I have a low. I'm an artist, but I have a low view of this world, and I tend to be more far right than left wing. So maybe I'm a bit odd when it comes to, like, I must be a bit of an outcast when it comes to the artists. I don't get along with most other artists.
I mean,
just look at what all gets passed off as art today. I mean, most of it is just narcissism.
Garbage. Compared to mine, I would say, yeah, it's garbage.
That's what every artist would like to say, I think.
Well, not to toot my own horn, but you should check out my artwork and see. I mean, it's not this modern garbage. Oh, damn, I got a phone call. I got to go for a bit, but I'll be back in a little bit.
He just gets.
I wanted to talk about Margaret Mead, but I will be back in a bit.
For sure. Yeah, thank you for joining.
Master Mason, Margaret Mead. I'll be back in a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Master Mason.
Oh man, the puzzles, they already upon us. The puzzles have descended. I mean, the occult, the gnosis, you know, yeah, they're hiding the anacronyms.
Think of it more like the Mentats in Dune, where the purpose of the Mentat cult is to make humans out of computers, where you don't need to use computers, you can rely on human energy, right? In Frank Herbert's Dune. So imagine that is just a political philosophy or world philosophy, meaning humanity doesn't need computers anymore. We can turn humans into computers by creating mentats.
I need to talk to Pill Eater.
Who's recording this? Did you hear that? That's hilarious. But yeah, wait, what did you say, Illumitami?
I need to get a second with Pill Eater.
Right.
Like I said, I'm trying to verify. Are my chats visible?
Yeah, I can see your chats. Let me go on the channel and check it out. Chat's visible on the channel.
Let me talk to the live chat too. I still see it when I turn it to live chat. People are giving me mixed information on whether I'm visible in the chat or not, and I leave room for me to be invisible because my channel got a strike. But it's imperative before I try to say something about a person, I need to know if I was visible there or not naturally.
Yeah, I
Oh,
see you. I see you. I see you there. So
Can you ask your stand-up? Okay, even if Ageless Timeless is saying I'm there. So I'll just go ahead and say it. Yesterday, I came upon what I thought was a Cool With Me Neurojack channel, and there was typical a-holes I like to go at it with because I'm always right with them, and they're all ganging up on Pill Eater about the use of this term that they were wrong about. But my issue is I don't know of having any problem with Neurojack, and I'm not visible on his channel. I'd like to know why, because he keeps showing up at mine, chatting cordially, and I
Oh,
can't
by the
remember
way,
what.
I just started my own YouTube thing, so
oh
hopefully I can
yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry
StreamYards.
about that. I was actually gonna show everybody the show that you were talking about yesterday when you guys were reviewing
Yeah,
Dugan and yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
just put it up StreamYard, so if anybody, I could just start a StreamYard, and if anybody wants to go over panel broing over there, I
Yeah,
just
this is
learned how
what
to
he's
do it.
talking about, where they were reviewing Dugan and Tucker Carlson. So you guys go and check that out. I'm
I
definitely gonna
at
be
at
excited
the
to watch
risk at the risk of losing Pill Eater's respect, I love post Fox News Tucker Carlson. That dude is on it right now.
I mean, I just did it because Neurojack told me to play it, and I didn't even know.
that.
I
That's
didn't
usually
even know. I
that's
was
how
like,
half of
no.
my shows. That's how half
I
of
was
my
like,
shows have gone.
and I'm like, there's no way Tucker interviewed Dugan, and then I find it. I'm like, oh yes, he did 18 hours ago. I'm like, wow. Okay, we're gonna watch this.
Did you see his recent Joe Rogan? I haven't watched it all, but have you seen any of it?
No, it looks like that's gonna be another episode.
Oh, it's crazy.
Okay, thank you so much, Joe Mill, for joining. I don't know if you got your audio there figured out, but yeah, I'll go and figure out if you're there. I will be shutting down soon, so there is that. So please, this is just such a random show, so you guys, please feel free to
So
say anything you want. But yeah, let's watch some of this because I'm so interested in this.
Well, hold on. Do you think I'm muted do you guys know why I might be muted on Neurojack?
I can hear you.
No,
What do you
on
mean muted?
Neurojack.
Muted.
I have no idea.
As
I
in
don't
you
know.
can't see me in the chat because I was chatting for the link when what were they going at you with the term fascist meant? Oh no, which political party? Fascism is not a political
Right.
thing. Fascism is the idea that you must do it our way. And they were trying to put you on the spot about which political party would you say that can be either of them. Either of them
Right.
can be fascist. A person can be fascist. An organization can be fascist. A cult can be fascist. But those guys are fucking retarded. Iffy and who was the other one?
My
Man? I
my
hate
Wi-Fi was wonky the other day, so it was like I tried to keep coming back in, but I kept losing Wi-Fi for some odd
it was
reason. But they were
Iffy
like
and
really
somebody
intense
else
in it.
that I can't stand. That was on Neurojack yesterday, and there was more of you on the panel than there was viewers. Typical.
But yeah, I have my show too, so hopefully I can start doing
Yeah,
it on
we
my
heard it. We heard your little plug there.
Just saying.
No, it's good because people need to watch some real shit instead of watching the type of shit that they watch. I'll just put it that way. So please go. And that's the comment I left that YouTube removed. I said, stop watching bullshit and watch the Pill Eater show. And then they removed it. That's how.
There's also a current situation with comments disappearing because when Nat Chiquita he made a community post speculating if he thought certain people were doing it or messing with him, and I posted him the thing that was in the creator tab on your YouTube studio. They put a message in there saying they are aware of the comments in the chat situation and are working on it. So I know this community has always had people disappearing comments and chats, but there's currently a YouTube issue with it.
Yeah, I mainly just did this to get people to the other channel because I'm going to be limiting my streams on this channel and mostly streaming on the other channel. If you guys missed the Neurojack stream yesterday, Bumbaclot, because that was one of the greatest streams on the internet
yesterday.
Yeah,
I think.
whenever those dudes were going, was that the same stream though when they're going at Pill Eater about fascism?
I think so.
Do you remember who the second? It's just killing me. I can't remember his screen name. It was Iffy and
I can't
the other
remember.
guy.
It was just like
bleh.
5 people.
But they both try and come at me and they both fail. That's why I still want it up there. But I'm muted. Imagine how great a stream it would have been, TML, if I could have jumped in on that shit. Just learned them on some fascism definition.
Yeah, I don't know
It was the
why.
silver tongue to freak.
But here's the thing. I don't think that you're blocked because many people were trying to get in for a long time because Jack was busy. He just stepped away from his stream. So me and Reddington were trying to call out to Neuro as well. So the thing is that Neuro was just busy doing shit. So don't take it personally.
No, sir. You're not hearing the direct terms I'm using. My chats are not visible on his Silver Tongue Cavalier
I know.
channel.
I've already voiced your concern over to Jack, so hopefully he'll help.
No, I didn't want you to say anything. I want to confront the dude.
I know.
I was just before I confront him, I wanted to make sure you guys confirmed there wasn't anything squirrely that might have done it. And
I sent him the link, but he's busy.
And DeFreak, Silver Tongue channel is his coward channel. He was trying to hide from the CBO crew when he made that channel. And I'm not cursed. I'm a child of God, and I'm separated, so it looks like I'm cursed.
Thank you so much, Mills. I was going to say that capitalism is evolution extended to non-cell stuff we are told is a system invented by humans, but bacteria did not invent evolution. It uses them to build stuff. Very interesting. I was
going to say pretentious. Capitalism is the form of the best price for the best service or product will prevail, and this is a perverted
King
form.
Steven, you still there?
DeFreak, you were never blocked. You were muted on my channel like I am on Neurojack. I don't block people so they can get at me when I'm on other channels. I'm done with my stalling. Let's see the
Station
top.
33. You're getting jammed everywhere, says DeFreak.
No, DeFreak is a crazy person, not gaslighting. He is insane. But this guy's name is...
DeFreak has visions, but that doesn't mean he's insane.
No, he's come up on my couch. He's just another one of these.
What do you mean? What do you mean? He's there right now with Benton?
What? No, my apocalypse couch, bro. The apocalypse couch.
Yo,
on my
put Benton
channel.
on the line. Put Benton on.
No, he's dead. I'm not. No, what? I mean he's fine. He's fine. He just can't talk right now.
Why
but
not?
This guy on the screen, his name is Tuck, right? And he's here to fuck, right?
Oh, you're talking about... Yeah, okay. I get it.
Close daily advisor to Vladimir Putin. He is a writer who writes about big ideas. And for this, his books have been banned by the Biden administration in the United States. You cannot buy them on Amazon. Banning books.
Whoa. Hold on a second. Hold on. I have to put on my camera for this. Oh, wait. There's no...
I thought he was talking in real time.
So I have to go into settings, virtual backgrounds.
God, Pill Eater, do you even PC, dude? Do you even stream controls, bro?
No.
Wait, why? Okay, there we go. Okay, great. Now it's gonna get good. And there's light on here. See, this is...
Man, if you're Pill Eater, maybe you should try Adderall sometime.
Good at that. It's funny because I was just saying that this is an M1 computer, so it's just it's not bad at all. It's like very smooth. This is like 32 RAM here, so it's like...
Sounds like you PC,
the 4 gig
bro.
RAM the other night was just choppy as hell, so now this can go really fluid here. But anyway, as to reply to Arctos, Dugan's books are banned everywhere, and yet his publisher is Arctos, which I write for. So Tucker is kind of talking about me, because if I publish for Arctos, then I guess I'm banned, and Landon Benoit. So...
Well, it's also weird. What's weird about it is, like, I mean, I don't know how much you've looked into Dugan and his connection
By the way, I wanted to ask you, Pill Eater, have you written comparable works on what you stated earlier, in terms of transhumanism, and the individualism and the links to liberalism?
On Arctos, I have
Okay.
under my real
Okay.
name.
Well, I've written some stuff on that topic as well. So I would like to send you some of my writings, and if you could send me some of your writings so we can correspond on this issue, because I think there's a lot there that I could discover, and also maybe have you critique some of my works on those topics. You know what I mean?
If you go to my website, you could see the email tab and just click on email me, and you
Well,
should just send me the email.
well, I'll just write you. I'll just write you on Twitter.
Yep, DM,
You know,
Twitter,
so
whatever works.
yeah, I'll probably just get you on there. But yeah, I'll grab your email on there too. Thank you so much. But yeah, I'd like to correspond with you on our writings on this topic, because I think it's one of the most fundamental issues right now. You know, but and especially how you pointed out the cult of Platonism. You know, I'm right there with you on that one. You know, so I think that's
David
very
Stowe.
important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Stove. He's an Australian guy. He
Okay.
died 20 years ago. David Stove. His book is The Cult of Plato.
The Cult of Plato. Okay, this sounds like a book that I need to get my hands on and read. So this is why
Yeah,
I'm
Australian professor. He was known for his very radical critiques of modernity, but he was really known for. He was also He was critical of Darwinism, of Darwinian theory as well. So very interesting guy, David Stove.
Cool.
Bill Leader.
Yep.
The best way to roll with your new greeting I'm going to give you is make your subheading Tucker Carlson's talking about me.
Yeah, I want it to be. In my world, he is.
I love it, man.
I mean, that's how you do it. Yeah, he is.
Just add him. Just add Tucker Carlson. You know.
But what if he retweets though? What if I do it and he retweets?
No, that
That's
is
what I'm
cool. You
saying.
write for the same publishing company. Can you get in contact with that dude he's talking about? Get him on one of these channels or yours.
Oh, one of the things we did on my videos is like I put like hashtags. so you could put like hashtag Tucker Carlson. Maybe that'll do it. All right. You know, so that might be.
Hashtag Tuck is here to fuck.
Yeah, hashtag Tuck likes to fuck. And
don't give a fuck.
Tucker's a fucker, and he's also a glower. You know, so his dad was working for the feds. You know, so I don't know about him, but it's funny that Mencius Moldbug and Tucker Carlson, that their dads were like part of the CIA or whatever. You know, it was pretty interesting. You know.
Oh, and just so I can't lose any rep or clout, that's definitely my presence that Annapurna bailed on and put, sorry guys, I'm out in the chat.
Was that you? Thank you so much, Tommy.
That is why.
For getting rid of my new friend. Why are you
Because
as human?
she's an old friend of the community, and she I think she's embarrassed of some times on In a Yurt with Books and the pre-Polly Child OTW show. We've had some run-ins where I think she regrets being that everyone should jack off or get themselves jacked off. I don't know. It was weird. It was a weird show.
Well, I've paused this at 22:33, so there's definitely Kabbalistic witchcraft afoot. But yeah, let's go ahead and play this.
To the occult and stuff, but it's just weird how many caveats this Christian, you know,
I don't even think Christian at all. He's not Christian.
No, I mean Tucker allegedly.
Right. Dugan is far from Christian. It's more like Russian ethno-nationalist, hate G7, esoterica. Like, I remember when Dugan was first actually distributed on Countercurrents 10 years ago, when Greg Johnson thought, wow, Dugan's really cool and avant-garde. And then he took down Dugan because Johnson's like pro G7, pro vax. So it's like, oh yeah, typical, right? But yeah, I didn't know the whole Tucker interviewed Dugan, but
yeah, it just happened like within the last 48 hours, I think.
So let's continue on here. I guess the sound quality is okay. So
Yeah, but
books
it's
in
just
the United States
remarkable.
because the
Sorry,
idea is
I just want to say it's remarkable how many caveats he's given. Like, I know a lot of people are going to be upset. I know that blah blah blah. It's like
Yeah,
it's just very
it's
weird.
really like if you make a show called Uncomfortable and then get Jared Taylor on to just talk about that race is real, it's very compromised. Like there's nothing uncomfortable about the fact race is real, but this outlet makes, and so it's like Tucker is doing this liberal, like, well, this is about like, what's offensive about Dugan? There's nothing
Yeah,
really about
I'm going to go ahead and coin the term. It's called corporate counterculture. That's what I'm going to coin that right now.
They make sure the semantics don't leave the but keep going on.
inside are too dangerous. He's often described, again, in the English language press as far right. We'll let you assess, but we wanted to talk to him about some of his ideas, these ideas that are so dangerous that his only daughter was murdered over them, and his book's been banned in the United States. And so we're happy to have him join us now. Mr. Dugan, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, and welcome to Moscow.
Of course, thank you. So we were talking off camera. Actually, we're having a conversation that we were not going to film, just interested to meet you. But what you said was so interesting that we got a couple of cameras and put this together. And my question to you is, what do you think is happening in the English language countries? And I said, all of them, United States, Canada, Great Britain, New Zealand, Australia, all at once decided to seemed to turn against themselves. You know, this great turmoil, and some of the behaviors seem very self-destructive. And where do you think, as an observer, that comes from?
So I could just suggest, express my reading of that. It demands a little patience. So I think that everything started with individualism. So individualism, that was wrong.
You're muted.
I know, I'm such a boomer. Now, I was thinking, when I play the video and have my mic on, does it feedback the video and my microphone from taking it?
It just kind of, StreamYard doesn't have a very good audio, so it's going to always be difficult to hear one or the other. Yeah.
Right, and then go, because I noticed that if I play into, so I was just, for example.
Yeah, we're gonna watch this whole thing. This is gonna be a fun time. This is what it is.
I can also see how the pill eater Neuro combination. Pill eater is like the type of talker that gives Neuro all those directions for him to just that Neuro thing out on. You know, like why this? How do we stop this?
This from Canuck. I put it up without reading it. So let me let me see what this says quickly. It says, but Dugan was never about some kind of deep thinking philosophy on what happened to the West. This was always about destroying the United States. And if Dugan is such a staunch advocate of traditionalism and religion, you know, which is funny, that whole Rene Guénon type of stuff that went over into Evola and those guys, along with Putin, Russia in general. Why did Dugan choose as the symbol of the Eurasia movement, the 8-pointed star of chaos? Why does he, quote, almost seem to admire the British occultist and Satanist Aleister Crowley? Does that seem very traditional to anyone? Kind of sounds as if stated motives to save religion and traditional values are a bunch of BS, and tapping into religion just helps them justify their expansionist plans. And boy, does he tap into it. Listen to this. The meaning of Russia is that through the Russian people will be realized the last thought of God, the thought of the end of the world. Death is the way to immortality. That kind of sounds very transhumanist right there. Love will begin when the world ends. We must long for it like true Christians. We are uprooting the accursed tree of knowledge. With it will perish the universe. Holy shit. Well, that's not holy. Welcome
Sounds
to
pretty
Free.
Revelations to me.
What's up?
Okay, guys. Well, we're shutting this down, so everybody get ready for a closing statement here in a minute here.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you so much, the Freak, for joining.
It's a blessing to have you here with me, brother. How you feeling today?
Well, I don't know. I was gonna see what's up with Tommy, but if you're shutting down, then I guess I'll have to
Whoa,
wait.
whoa, 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 whoa. Number one, crazy people don't know they're crazy, so how would you know how you feel? And why are you trying to talk to another man about something you're trying to talk to me about that I'm done talking to you about? Now you're following me around like a little desperate bitch. You
Why
really
are you?
came up on this panel because I was here?
Okay, guys, stop gaslighting each other with the psycho stuff.
This
No more.
isn't gaslighting. This isn't gaslighting. Every time I've said that dude's crazy, I say no gaslight. Gaslighting is when he accuses me of something that I do, and to deny that, I'd rather challenge his sanity than acknowledge I do a
Okay.
thing. Now
Okay.
you
Well,
see how false it gets.
I'm sure there's a misunderstanding and or that we can resolve this soon.
No, we're
Go
not
ahead.
going to
You
resolve
think-
it. He wants to talk to me. I will abstain from allowing that because he doesn't do it right and he's chasing it.
Oh
Have
Lord. Well,
fun,
I still
have
gotta.
fun with
get
your
him
wrenched
to
up
close him.
psycho.
All right. Well, you. Okay. Well, I don't know where he went. Okay. Well, DeFreak, go ahead and speak.
Well, he ran that girlfriend of yours off, so I guess I ran him off. So I don't know. Big bad Tommy's a little big bad, commie.
Well, I resent to her being my girlfriend. I'm actually married, so I'm not trying to date people here. But yeah, blessings.
No,
Yeah.
I mean like girl and friend.
Oh, okay. I get it. I get it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The Anna girl. She was I didn't. But as soon as I popped up, like Tommy came in and then she was gone. So I don't know. Anyway, Tommy runs off like a little squirrel every time come up now. It's like it's funny because like I'm the only one that's gonna tell him the truth of Jesus Christ, and yet he runs away from me. So it's like I don't even know if you're Christian anymore, Tommy. Like you're indoctrinated. Yeah, you know the Bible, sure. You have all the sermons or whatever. Great, but you don't know Jesus Christ, bro. It's a big difference. That's all I got.
Well, thank you, DeFreak, and we'll be doing a show tomorrow, so you guys tune in tomorrow, anyways. Sorry, I'm kind of glitching out there, but yeah. Okay, we also have this guy here. Go ahead, Tommy. Hit him with the
Oh,
closer here.
I
You
was
got any-
just gonna keep. I was just gonna keep listening to that dude. All I did was finger fuck my phone. Now he runs away every time he sees me. No, I'm not gonna blow up on your show, but I mean, sometimes I finger fuck whenever there's no case on this phone, so everything that's not screen manipulation seems to be like dropping it or it's sitting on the table. You have to be touching the screen or you're not holding it.
Yeah, I stepped on my keyboard earlier and like shit opened up on my computer I've never seen before. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" But yeah.
You ever seen that meme? Is that Russian? It's like a Russian Olympic wrestler, and it's got his name at the bottom of the screen. And then, like, I can't describe what his name was, but the lower square was just a cat walking across the keyboard.
Well, all right. Well, you got any wisdom for him, Tommy, before we close this out?
No, I got thrown off a left field. I came up kind of hostile, talking about that neurojack thing, but yeah, let's find out why he muted me. Let's work it out. And then
Okay.
DeFreak, you're good.
Yeah, we'll
DeFreak,
figure it
I
out.
can't even. Yeah. DeFreak, go watch your last appearance on Flow State. Watch your last appearance on my couch, and tell me why I should bother with you later.
Okay, well there goes Tommy. What about you, brother Steven? You got any wisdom for them? I know you got a lot of wisdom to share. Go ahead, brother. I don't think Steven is there, so I think Steven may have stepped away, and I think maybe he said he had to step away. So yeah, I'll throw Steven here.
Hello.
Oh, okay. Here
Hello.
he is. Yeah, what's going on, brother? Yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
Go ahead.
what's up? I just heard my name. I just got off the phone now. Was looking
Oh
for my
yeah.
glasses.
Yeah. I'm
Were
sorry.
you calling?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I'm closing this out. So you got anything to say for these people? I know you got a lot of wisdom to share. Go ahead, brother.
All right. I don't know what I missed, but shout out to Bex Zero. I see that she's in the chat room. I didn't know she has a wrench over here. She's a moderator. Interesting. But Yeah, I just saw like a second ago there was someone on here, DeFreak and Tommy, I think.
Yep.
So, yeah, I would have had something to say to them, but
Oh,
all
you
I
know
would say,
them.
well, not really. I don't really know them, but I was chatting with Tommy on Benton's channel last night. I think it was. He
Okay.
was, yeah, he was running a live stream on Benton's channel, and I hopped on
Oh,
there
really?
as a
Oh,
guest.
I
Yeah,
wasn't aware of that. That's interesting.
yeah. He was on there last night, and DeFreak has been talking shit about me. He's kind of a weird Jesus freak, I guess, or something, but he's a troll at the same time. He's
Yeah, I
kind of
think you guys
strange.
could have an interesting debate on those issues, Jesus versus the soul trap, kind of type of stuff. And I know you've kind of evolved and refined your theories way past that, and yours are more, refined even past the soul trap stuff, as I understand, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
blessings, brother.
My model's head and shoulders above any of these little soul trap channels that say we consented to this, to that. I mean, they kind of miss the target, and they don't have really a big picture view. I try to have a big picture view. But I guess the only thing I want to say to people is investigate things, keep an open mind, and if you can, investigate things before you make assumptions about topics, theories, ideas, or people. You should investigate first, because otherwise it's willful ignorance to dismiss, deny, attack, insult, reject, assume something, jump to conclusions without investigation. And I think that's what a lot do on panel channels, in the chats of the audience. A lot of people, and some of the people that hop on panel channels, they tend to jump to conclusions or dismiss things without doing any investigation. And I think that leads to just total ignorance. And it also leads to people being in a little bubble, which I see a lot of on panel channels, where they don't step outside of their safe space or little bubble and look into topics that they haven't investigated. They just kind of say, "Oh, that's dumb," or "That's stupid," or "Hey, he talks about this," or whatever. But DeFreak, you've talked about me. You asked about 25 questions in a row on Janice Jeff's channel, and then after all the questions, you talk shit. You're just a loser. You're a complete fraud, and you're just somebody that you're not in my league, and that's the way it goes. You're a meth head. You said that you use meth, and you're just somebody that asks questions just to be a troll. Like, I mean, you're not grown up. Like, you're just a little fucking phony. That's what I see about you. But I think DeFreak is typical of what's on a lot of panel channels: pretenders, phonies, losers, frauds, liars, people that really don't look deeply into anything, but they have an opinion on everything. And I think that's stupid. It's very common, but that's the level the mainstream masses are at. Venus is another one. I mean, there's a lot of low level people around on panel channels. So anyway, that's the way I look at it. I look into things before I judge and investigate first. I think those are my words of wisdom for people.
Thank you, brother Stephen. And go subscribe to the Sanity Machine if you guys want to hear more from Stephen. And thank you for joining, my brother. It's always a blessing talking to you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on. Take it easy, man. I'll see you later sometime.
For sure. See you soon. And yeah, Pill Eater, how about you, my friend? Thank you so much for joining, as always.
My words of wisdom: I highly recommend the book Play Matters by Miguel Sicart. That's Sicart. It's a book about play and about why play is really interesting to understand what games are. And it's something that is found in puzzles, in games, but play has a spirit that's kind of like an anarchist revolution. As long as you have a playful spirit and understand play, you can understand games. So I highly recommend that book. Miguel Sicart, Play Matters.
Thank you so much, Pill Eater. It's always a very edifying conversation to have with you at all times. And blessings, my brother, for being here with me. Yeah, thank you, my friend. And we'll talk to Pill Eater soon.
we also have my friend here, Annapurna. Blessings
Yeah, I just came to say thank you and good
for
night
sure.
and hi, Easy.
Yeah, thank you so much, Annapurna. I
Thank
know
you.
you got a lot of wisdom for these guys, but yeah, blessings. Go ahead and share something that you would like to share with these people. 28 people here. Can you offer them any health or wisdom advice?
Yeah,
And
first,
thank you so
hopefully they're
much.
looking for it because unsolicited advice is the worst kind. But
Well, you just gave some. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
yeah, I wonder how much I give, and I don't even realize.
That's
Well,
right.
I just I guess a thought for the day. That's what we used to call it when I was growing up. The thought for the day that you ruminate on is I don't want to be a downer, but how much we fall short of the ideal in the day to day life. How much we end up comparing ourselves moment to moment to those around us and trying to be a little better. It's maybe even at a subconscious level. It's almost like an itch we have to scratch, like, oh, well, am I better or worse than that other person? And how can I upstage or not be threatened by them? Like this kind of micro calculation that goes on at an almost subliminal level. Like, are we aware of it? And are we aware like how much it is gap between where we are and where we want to be, or the ideal or the capacity for who we are? I mean, just the fact that the human body was built, like according to the Vedic text again, like that it was built to meditate for 1,000 years, and we're sitting around, busy comparing um each other, like, like, oh, well, am I better or worse, or how can I upstage, or anyway. So, and it's not just online. I mean it in day-to-day life. Sometimes we might even engage with life like it's like a video game, like, oh, well, we go and we get approval from this person, that person. How does the approval or disapproval affect us as we walk down the street? So yeah, just that, like, just how much are we a slave to the carrot and the sticks of life? And each one of us have unique carrots and sticks, and how much is there a place beyond that? And that's a place I want to dwell in. So hopefully people that are tuning in, that's the place they want to be into, because that's the place I know is peace. And that's my contribution. Thank you.
Yes, know thyself, and fear not of man, because fear of man causeth snares. Thank you so much, Annapurna, for coming through again, and you have a blessed day, my sister. Please, everyone, go and subscribe to this Annapurna channel. So you could, if you guys want to hear more from her. So we got the channel here, Annapurna.
I appreciate that.
Blessings, guys. And definitely
Thank
you'll hear
you.
more from me
Blessings.
soon. And it's I know we're gonna have a very beautiful friendship to come. As long as we keep our ducks in a row. Blessings to you, Annapurna.
Same to you. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you. And my friend Brown's boy, go ahead, my friend. What you got for us?
Oh man, I missed everything. Probably gonna go back and watch.
Yeah, it was a good one. Yeah,
I
it was
felt like
definitely
there was
entertaining.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always something. Really. There's always tons of good stuff. I did want to just kind of say, I think I've sent you like one or two emails in the past. I think you said you received them and stuff. And just to let you know, I think if you search like that email address, that's my business address. So it'll actually give you my number in case you need it. in case for whatever reason you want
For sure, for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna text you as soon as I get off of here, so we could, correspond on a lot of shit. My Discord and my shit closed down all
Jay?
the time. The channel might get fucked up. So yeah, man, I got your back. So yeah, we'll figure out some connections and things. You know what I'm saying?
Detroit.
Detroit.
Actual fuck.
That's what it is, and we got and I already got a bunch of people on. We're forming a cyber caliphate, as you know. So you know what I mean. It is what it is. So thank you
Oh
so
wait, are
much.
you guys both in Detroit?
Yeah, and so lastly,
Okay,
like with
that makes more sense that you'd
yeah,
come up for closing statements after missing the whole stream and just
yeah,
go
yeah,
Detroit.
yeah. So like, and also Anna, like
Can you
she's
back
a
your camera
great.
up a little? Can you back your camera up a little bit? Thanks, Cecil.
She's a great teacher.
No.
And I did hear her talking about like the carrot, and I'm just looking for people that care at all.
You like carrots?
Hell yeah, brother. Yeah, thank you so much to Lanza, man. I love his like little language things, you know what I mean, that he does, man.
Oh, carrot all! How clever! I get it.
Right, that's right. Yeah,
I see what he did there.
he's a clever guy, man. I like that guy, man. Blessings to him, man.
Maybe a little too
Yeah, go ahead.
clever for his own good sometimes.
But yeah, go ahead, dude. What you got for these people?
I think earlier, I'm not interested in resolutions with the freak, but I also don't know why Annapurna specifically would have that beef. So, maybe find out. Get at me. Or bring her up here while I'm up here.
Oh, okay, so we got Neurojack, we got Annapurna. Yo, we'll figure it out, Tommy. It is what it is, And I got a bunch of people. OTWs like mad at me. Mitchell was mad at
That's
me
a good
earlier.
thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah, a couple people mad at me too for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah, we'll figure it out. All right. I
But
guess we rub a few people the wrong way. You know what it is.
there's that, and that's what I think is like, I can't think of anybody that avoids me because I'm the one that's wrong between us. You get what I'm saying? Like when I'm the one that's in the wrong situation, I find myself reaching out or chasing to that person. When people are avoiding me, that usually means there's something I caught them short on, or they feel inadequate for a reason. And that's not ego. It's what I said is like, if I have wronged someone that I want to get right with, I'm seeking them out. And everybody that avoids me seems to know I got that card to pull, a la Paul Enslaved. I appreciate you today on Jacques. Now that I think about it, that was a good time. That's why I waited in the back so much, because it was such a good time every time you brought me up. And you did your job with Paul from the back chat. That was awesome. And I don't get what second place means. Like he's way behind Mr. Second Place. He's Mr. Ride the Pine.
Well, thank you, Tommy, man. Blessings to you, man.
And don't bother with the new bald angry guy video he dropped. It was very weak, very projection-y of a guy that's going through his own legal thing that I don't think it's in the process that it's the public's business yet. There's like questionable activities by this guy in law enforcement. It's not a classy time to just be putting it up on YouTube.
Well, I definitely know nothing about those ones, but yeah, I'm sure some of the panel knows exactly what you're referring to
Yeah.
because these people stay in the loop.
Yeah, that guy that gave his kid up for adoption, he put out a real crappy stream tonight. I'll leave it at that. Peace to Machine Lies, peace to his family, all that jazz.
Yeah, thank you, homie. Okay, yep. Okay, so it was a pretty good, beautiful 2 hours. Please go and subscribe to this channel Cyber Caliphate, which is also the Cyber Caliphate, you know what I mean, right? So, we'll be out here too. I'm going to go ahead and play my appearance the other day on Gen X Jeff. We were having a discussion about technology. Several discussions we had about technology. I had many mini debates that lasted for a very short amount of time. I had one with Gen X Jeff and my buddy Chris. They both have different opinions on the issue, and then I had some other a one with a Khazorian Empire fellow, on flow state, that one was very interesting. That one also lasted about 2 minutes, a very short exchange. And then we got another video against iFi on neurotic Jack, aka Bureau Jack, aka my mysterious friend Neuro Jack, one of the greatest partners I could ever have on the Machine Cries, aka what's the other little slogans they made up for me? The Machine Cries, the Machine I don't know, I don't even remember, but yeah, Cyber Caliphate holding it down, guys. Blessings to all you guys, and me and Neuro Jack are back on, we'll be coming at you guys Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, and mostly sometimes at the new channel. Yeah, Cecil was here earlier. He was in the chat earlier, but yeah, I don't know where he's gone to. He might be busy with something. But yeah, peace to the brother Cecil Drake, another founder of this channel. I think I really started this channel with Neuro Jack and Cecil Drake as my really co-runners, in terms of the people on the panel that have always been here since day one. But really the idea, the thought child of this channel was really formulated by me and Neuro Jack, the live stream portion of this channel, and the original show, The Machine Lives, was formed by me and my baby brother, Saleh. So, yeah, we were chilling one day and I told him, to edit videos for a YouTube show. So go ahead and check it out, guys. A show about technology, and we debate technology on this show. And we talked about technology for over an hour and a half here before we opened up the panel here, with some different discussions. So yeah, the basic ideas of the show, and we'll get to Jacques Ellul, the ideas of Jacques Ellul, soon. I'm sorry I didn't really get to that, but maybe tomorrow we'll get to Jacques Ellul. We'll open it up with that. We'll cycle through that, and then we'll get some videos going in terms of the panel discussion. So tomorrow we'll have a full show, so I'll be out here for several hours for you guys, talking about different issues. So if you guys have any questions, please formulate your questions tonight and come here, or you're welcome to come on the panel and have a discussion with me as well. And you're also welcome to write me in my emails if you want to have a private conversation, or even join my Discord. Let me drop this Discord link here for anybody who wants to come through on the Discord, conversation. You guys can come. So far there's no organization to the Discord. I'm the only person who's running the Discord or whatever, so I appreciate all the feedback from everyone in the emails and on Discord. And also thank you for subscribing to the other channel, the alternative channel, Cyber Caliphate. Here's a good discussion we had with Gen X Jeff. Blessings to all of you. Thank you for joining us here on The Machine Lies, where we talk about the lies of the machine on the machine that lies. And I hope you have clarity to see through the lies, my friends.
You have the option to swipe.
Oh, like you just trace the letters?
Yeah.
I'll have to
That's
try
actually-
that.
Yeah, no, that's way easier. I can't, because if I try to type out words, I get them wrong. But like a lot of times, like it won't always get the words you're going for. But then like you'll have the little list at the top that you can just choose the word it's supposed to be and correct real fast. And I can text like that. I mean, I don't text a lot, so it's not a big deal.
I will try to remember that.
It's pretty much standard on all phones these days. I think if you
I'm sure I have. I could spend hours and hours. See, or make it more complicated. Made of people from that technology. I'm just going to answer it from like my own personal life. If you're trying to like, especially the learning curve for learning a new piece of technology, I could spend hours and hours chasing down very frustrating rabbit holes. But then once I learn it, I'm fine until it breaks. What was the best invention of the last 50 years? Let's see. That's after my lifetime. I'm just going to answer it from like my own personal life, not necessarily. I've got to say, AOL, the computer, like that is what expanded my life more than any other piece of technology, and I don't know what my life would be like without it, because everybody in my life after that came through the computer. That's where I started meeting people. My whole social life was made of people from that technology. So I'd almost have to say that one. Oh, here's one for Machine. Does technology simplify life or make it more complicated? I think both, because I don't think it's one or the other.
It's definitely not one or the other. It definitely both simplifies and complicates things. It's just in different ways. It simplifies so many things that simplifies the gathering of information. It simplifies it simplifies to some degree human communication, but it also adds some of the
Oh,
complexity.
look at here.
Speak up the devil and he shall appear.
This is your question, Machine.
Yeah, you rang.
Welcome.
Here, hold on. Let me turn my TV off.
Okay. I was talking to a college kid the other day, and like they register online now. They just book their slot. And I was thinking how we had to go stand in line for hours and hours. You got there in the morning, and there was these huge long lines, and you had these newspapers with tiny print that would show your classes, and you had to hope that you got there in time to get the section you wanted. It was so complicated, and how simplified all that is now. They could just sit in their bedroom on a keyboard and do all their college classes in like minutes, in a process that used to take us days and days. Like, because sometimes you'd have to go 2 days, like you didn't always do it all the first day, and it was laborious and it was torturous. And so how technology just streamlined all that, and I don't think anybody would want to go back to the stand in line version.
Well, it's all about what is done on the other end. Like, sure, there's no line, but there's a slew of processes that have been set into motion, right? And those don't come just at like just free, right? They're not really free. They take up space, they take up time. Like, for example, like the data centers that actually hold the data for the internet, they take up more power than entire cities.
Oh yeah, and like crypto mining too, I know is a big issue.
Yeah, it's an exorbitant expenditure of energy behind it, right? It's not just so that's the thing, is that there is a sense in which nature is simplicity, because because how more simple can it be, right? Nature just makes life, right? And that life doesn't especially have to make anything in order to survive, right? A lot of the life that's out there, it just kind of just lives off of nature, right? So in a way, that's almost complete, like 0 point, like energy, like efficiency, right? Like, nature is an intelligent system that just keeps going, right? And it doesn't need anything. So there's this whole thing of like frugality, right? And like Skolomowski has this thing where he says frugality is grace without waste.
Without waste.
Grace without waste. And then you have on the other end efficiency, right? And the ideal of efficiency, right, is I think it's inherently circular, right? Because like you make something more efficient, and the goal is more efficiency. Efficiency is essentially its own goal.
Yeah, but I think the goal is to reach like a point of maximum efficiency,
right?
Where it just maintains that equilibrium from that point.
Right, but like maximum efficiency towards what end, right?
Well, I think it's an ideal. I don't think it's ever actually reached.
Of course, and that's what I mean. Like, the ideal of efficiency is literally itself. Like, so it's like a circular process that is never quite fulfilled, right? And the same thing you could be said with almost with progress, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's ever ultimate progress. That's why
Right.
I'm not a utopian. I don't believe we're going to reach this ultimate endpoint where everything gets perfected.
Right. So you think so you naturally believe that there's a built-in limit to how much we can, maximize our use of technology in order to gain happiness. That.
There was a guy on PF Young last weekend that he had something really intelligent to say about this, and he said that every time humans think that they've reached a limit of what they're able to do or supposed to do, or what's normal, that they can't imagine anything beyond that, humans always find a way to transcend it, and then there becomes some new limit. And so we're always surprising ourselves at where we think our limits are versus where they actually are when we push them. And so it's a combination of like recognizing what you're talking about, but also recognizing that in the past, humans have found ways to go beyond that kind of stuff.
Right. They've gone way beyond in terms of technological progress and way behind in terms of moral acuity. So that is an apparent issue, because it's like we have power that we don't trust anybody to wield. We have to invent systems in order to control the power that we have created.
Okay,
in order to create like checks so that nobody like actually obtains the full power. Because if somebody had, like, for example, nuclear weapons, that would be a dire situation. If one man controlled that situation, it would be a dire. It would be very dire for a lot of people, because a man's whims are subject to God knows what. Right? It's subject to anything and everything, really. A one man. I mean, nobody I've met doesn't have the ability to be manipulated, right?
Right.
So,
No,
so in order,
go ahead. You make some excellent point. I agree with all of this so far.
well, it's just that
There's certainly things to think about, and this is the conversations to have, I believe.
Right, and that's the thing is like like, to me, simplicity is about like how much I can manage in my own affairs, right? And then in that sense, like if my affairs are managed by the nuclear power plant 100 miles away, right, which they inevitably are, right, because if nobody is there to control the fission reactor and there's not water being poured over that thing, it will create a hole in the fucking ground. right. So like that hole in the ground, the core, at least in Fukushima, it melted through the ground and they can't find out where it went. So.
Yeah, I just like I always trust that the people at these cutting edges of technology are thinking about this, and like I have friends that I know that are tech like ethicists, and they write articles on AI and the things we need to be worried about.
Well,
and look
did
out
you
for. So I
know?
know there are people that try to identify these potential downsides.
Well, did you know that the guy, one of the main researchers of AI, is Marvin Minsky, right? And
I don't know.
well, he's very, very famous. He's an MIT researcher. He's one of the first to develop this stuff, right? He's mentioned in the book, the MIT lab by Stuart Brand. If you look him up, there's dozens of quotes. Marvin Minsky. He's a very, very influential AI scientist, like one of the top researchers in the field, and basically this guy Marvin Minsky, he even said, and so did Ben Goetzel. He said that the AI may be successor, a successor intelligence or something like that. So he said that the AI might become our evolutionary successor.
I don't even know what that means.
Well, he said that it'll become more evolved than humans. They say it's a possibility
like
that
monkeys
AI
are to us.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just weird that a machine would
Well,
in the way organic beings do.
Well, Ben Goetzel, he works at I believe he works at OpenAI, and then Marvin Minsky, he works at MIT Labs. Those are the two top researchers of AI, and they both said that this might become a successor intelligence. So, in other words, they believe that they in their estimations believe that AI may surpass humanity in terms of intelligence, and then put human beings on a lesser evolutionary stage, and they're still trying to improve it.
That sounds sci-fi to me. Well, just because they believe it, that don't mean I have to believe it. It sounds very
Of course not.
science
Of course
fiction to
not.
me.
Of course not. But your original statement was that you trust that the people who are developing these things have our best interest in mind.
Right, but not those two people. I mean, I trust that those are not the only two people doing this.
Those
and there
are some of the
plenty of
top.
other
Well,
people out there that we can rely on. is what I mean.
maybe, but those are some of the top 2 researchers, like in the field. You know, and that's their opinion. I mean, I'm gonna go with their opinion instead of like my own wild
I'm not.
guess.
I'm not.
Well, you just said we should trust the
I
experts.
don't have enough information to have an opinion. I don't think anybody
Right.
does. Even the people I
No.
know in the field are guessing.
Oh, well, that's a problem, isn't it, Jeff? Why should they be guessing about something they're making?
But
They should improve
guessing has
humanity.
always been part of scientific. Like I'm okay with guessing and not knowing.
Right. And many times they've guessed wrong.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it doesn't have to improve humanity.
That's certainly a possibility. I'm just
Right.
more optimistic based on my predictive model that I've built.
Of course. I mean, yeah. I mean,
I could be. There's no guarantee. I could be wrong. We could be headed for disaster.
Right. But the reality of the situation is that the more serious the situation becomes, in which, like, for example, like you can't manage your own affairs, you need Homer Simpson sitting next to the big red button at the nuclear power plant to manage your affairs for you, right? So
I love it if somebody managed my affairs for me.
But you
That's
just
very
said you,
tempting.
but you said you enjoy being in control of your own decisions as well. So that's a paradox.
Well, like the stuff that I don't like paying taxes. I was thinking about that this year. Why do we have to file tax forms? Why can't the government just automatic? They have all the data on us. They know how much we make.
It's because of
automate that to where we don't have to do it. They can just take out the amount each year
It's
automatically.
because you would have to hire people to program the automated systems. You just create more complexity. It's not like you automate the systems and that's a fix. Like you don't need people are
They
going to
only have to
automate
do
the
it
system.
once, right? They'd only have to create the software for it once.
No, you would have to be constantly having people oversee it and manage it.
Well, like a small team, but the initial investment.
A small team of experts that require capabilities that are far beyond the present systems we have in place. That's going to be hard to get that team.
But I think our present systems are on the way to expanding very rapidly with AI and quantum computing on the horizon.
Well,
so the limitations we have now with our systems, I don't think we're going to have for much longer.
Maybe that's just wishful thinking.
Well, that's just the trajectory I've seen technology take in general.
No, the trajectory is innovation is a mixed bag. Okay, right. That's the true trajectory, right? You invent something, you don't know what's going to come out the other end. That's exactly, and not only that, you give everybody else the power to invent it too.
Yeah, I think that's all a good thing.
Well, history has proven otherwise, right?
Well, no, I've seen great things come out of technology, like the people's ability to innovate off of existing technology.
Yeah, MAD, mutually assured destruction.
What you're looking at, like
we are in a stage of mutually assured destruction.
I don't believe that.
Well,
there's no way to falsify that unless we get nuclear destroyed. So
there's political experts that would disagree with you.
That's fine. I don't have to take people's opinion just because they style themselves.
Of course.
That's not how my epistemology works at all.
Right. You're welcome to have your opinion, but if it's not based in any facts about what's going on,
and I feel the same way about like these people and everybody else.
Right. You're welcome to have your opinion, but like, what points do you have about your opinion that serve in one direction?
I said I'm okay with guessing and not knowing things. I don't have to have a solid, well thought out position on every single thing. If I don't know about the topic, I'm okay not knowing until we have more information.
That's where we're pretty much the same. But yeah. I mean, I don't know where this thing's headed, but but that to me is 50-50. That's not 70-30. You put positive on the 70.
I wonder how much of it comes down to individual temperament, because I'm just not a worrier in general. Even when there are actual crises, I tend to not worry too much and be optimistic and try to stay relaxed, etc. So
I mean, I could believe you, but I couldn't possibly assess your personal your psychological state day to day. I'd have to compare you to somebody more anxious or less anxious. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think the level of
anxiety or worry we feel about what's coming might also be like personal factors involved that tilt us one way or the other.
Maybe, but I think there's a concerted understanding that there's an existential crisis. Like most of the people I talk to, they believe there's a problem. Like they're
A lot
afraid
of
of,
the
like,
younger
they're afraid of,
generation.
well, yeah, yeah,
See it.
they're afraid of the advancements of science and technology. They're afraid of
Yeah.
genetic implementations. They're afraid of biochips. They're afraid of radiation. They're afraid of all that. They're at least skeptical about a lot of these things. So I've talked to hundreds of people that are extremely
I
skeptical.
don't think think that some healthy skepticism is misplaced. Like I
Of
think it's
course, of course
good
not.
to have a healthy amount of skepticism, not
That's how we've
paranoia.
saved our ass this whole time, right? We've like questioned these things. Like Rousseau's came out and questioned the Enlightenment, and they put the
Yeah.
brakes on that whole thing, and it helped us, right? That's exactly what it is. That
Yeah.
Thoreau came and put the brakes on the whole thing, and he said, no, I'm going to go into the cabin, and it was useful. They had that thing, where they had nature as an ideal in the Romantic era. And
Yeah.
it's like, we're like that is the pendulum has to swing the other way, is all I'm saying. And right now we're in a age of technological advancement. The pendulum is swinging. You can see the youth going into Gaia and psychedelics and nature stuff and you
Is
see
it a
that.
pendulum or is it just a dialectic? Because
pendulum.
even back in ancient Greece, you had this tension of kind of the irrational religious elements and then rationality emerging kind of as a counter to that. And then those two things have always been kind of in tension throughout the human culture since then. And this is just our version of it. We're always going to have the technocratic as technology advances, and we're always going to have like the human, the need for something that's not the machine part of us. And I think they just have different proportions at any given time or context that you're looking at.
Well, it's theorized that we had a different stage of technological advancement before this. Oh, peace. What's going on in traditional culture? What's going on, friend?
Hey,
How's it going?
Hey.
What's up? We're talking technology and culture.
Hey, good to see you, friend.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite subjects. It's good to see you as well.
Yeah, you summoned us both here.
And Chris, feel free to jump in too.
I
know you probably know more about technology than even I do, so I'd be interested to hear your take.
I mean, I'm definitely I'm a lot more. I feel like technology to me, it's a even if it is a negative, it's the genie's is out of the bottle. It can't be put back in. The best thing we can do is get as good as we can with it and use it for the best purposes we can. I don't see any way of going back.
Well, that's funny. Then you partly disagree with Jeff because we don't control the process, right? Or Jeff kind of admitted that to a certain
I think
degree
we do guide and direct it partially to an extent.
Oops.
I mean, even if the U.S. stopped all of its AI research and all the technology stuff that people are
Jeff,
scared of.
Jeff, you cut out there.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh yeah, my signal's low. What were we talking about? I said I think we can like guide or influence the process somewhat. There's plenty of situations where we reevaluate and course correct or learn from a result and then do something different the next time. So I don't think we're completely at the mercy of a random process. I think we have some agency within it.
Well, what do you think about that, Chris? You were saying something there.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, but does it even matter even if we stop? I was saying even if we stop all of our AI research, we back down all this stuff and start trying to then if we have China, we have other India, we have all these other countries that they're going to keep going with these things. They're going to and then they'll use the technology to outcompete and bring our downfall anyway. So the best thing we can hope to do is to try to forge through and try to find ways to make technology work in our favor and try to take as much control of it as as much control of the people as possible, democratize it as much as possible, so that it's not just in the hands of the oligarchs and such, and try to do the best we can with what we have. I don't see another way.
That robot switch. I'm not. I'm not worried about Elon. I'm more worried about how he's going to fuck up Twitter more than he has than anything else.
Well, it's a question as Elon's, he's a nephew of somebody. I think his uncle or his grandfather or something like that, James Hilderman. You know, he tried to overthrow the government of Canada, I think, and install a team of scientists to run the government. You know, so this was their plan called the Technocracy Party. Now it's everybody's question whether that should be done. And there's many intelligent people around the world, like Noam Chomsky and other people, anarcho-syndicalists and transhumanists that have proposed this as a ultimate. Well, the ultimate thing is that if you have AI and it becomes a super weapon as powerful as nuclear weapons, well, you will have to have a team of scientists run the government.
Or at least like consult or have a department or something.
Yeah, but that's
probably would already have as they
don't have it. They don't have it. It's lawyers and like politicians who
well,
run the
you're right. They're going to need it at some point. Like if the government starts trying to integrate AI, they're going to need some people that know what they're doing.
They're gonna need a regulatory agency. Now that is an agent of complexity, not simplicity, right? You added a regulatory agency.
But I want those. I think we need a certain amount of regulation for society to scale.
You think that the growth of government is a good thing?
It depends on the scale and the situation.
At
the national, at the federal level, even the state level.
That's a very liberal view. That's not conservative at all.
I'm a
that's a very
liberal.
Yeah, but that's a woke, that's like a new age liberal view. That's not a classical liberal view. Classical liberals want to reduce the size of government.
Not a bizarre position for many of the
classical liberals want limited government. Every one of them I've heard of. They don't want to expand the
Well,
power
I think you twisted my words a little bit. I didn't say I didn't want limited government. I said it depends on the scale. And for our scale, we need a certain amount of regulation. Now, the debate can be about what extent. I
adding
think
a regulatory agency
legitimate conversation to have.
Well, adding a regulatory agency, if you want more limited government, I think everybody would agree, be going in the wrong direction, especially one as powerful as
I'm not that black and white about it. I mean, I can see room for both. I can see limiting government where it can be limited and increasing regulation, especially when we're adding new things. I don't want unregulated new.
That's a tough cookie.
Like extensions of the government.
Help me out, track culture.
Yeah.
I would say that the problem is that it's the Lord Acton thesis, right? That like the way that human nature operates with hierarchies and things like that, that what will end up happening is that as technology advances, it will be used more and more by powerful, corrupt people to become more powerful and more corrupt. And this is the danger.
You just don't trust people in power, and I don't have the same distrust.
Well, no, I would say that I think that you're going to, like, unless you have a view of human nature that somehow, the temptation for evil when one has the power to do evil doesn't exist.
I think most people are going to more or less do the right thing. That's what I've observed most of my life. Our institutions have more or less worked.
Well, I'm noticing kind of a weak point in your philosophy, which is that you enjoy personal liberties, but you don't have a problem with power.
No, I mean, how do you have a society without power?
Especially
how do you have an individual without power? My whole work is trying to help people find a sense of their own empowerment.
Well, I mean, it's a very, like, I guess, neoliberal attitude, right? Because like this is what the neoliberal idea back in the 1990s was it was like the illusion of limited government, the illusion of personal liberty, but the reality of authoritarianism, because it's very like, so like, would you say that what we have right now is a society where human beings have a great deal of personal liberty? Because I would say, I think that our society is extremely.
Let's talk about paying taxes, because that's a lot of times that's what this conversation ends up coming down to. I don't feel like paying taxes makes me have less liberty.
Well, what about the idea of being under constant surveillance, being censored, being shadow banned?
I want more people to survey. I want more viewers on this stream. I wish more people would survey me.
No, I don't mean that type of surveillance. I mean, like, the fact that, like, that you have big corporations tracking every single move you make
No,
online.
it does not bother me at all.
Would you
when I
would you
first
like more
started the
people?
internet, I
Would
just
you like
assumed all that stuff was going to
Okay,
happen.
let me put it this way, Jeff. Would you enjoy more people looking at you that you don't know who they are, or less people?
It doesn't bother me one way or the other.
You don't care.
If
Okay, well,
random
well,
strangers
my
wanna look
opinion,
at
well, my opinion
it's
for
just
my
data anyway.
well, my opinion for my practical safety and that of my family and friends would be I would want less people who I don't know watching me.
Yeah, I don't have
I
the
think that's
same
perfectly logical.
for you, yeah, I don't have
No,
the
no, no,
same
no, no,
risk,
no,
like,
no, for
safety.
everyone. If you
Not
don't,
everyone's gonna
if
have
you
the
don't, no, no,
same
no, no, no,
level of
no,
risk
no,
or
no, Jeff,
safety
Jeff,
needs.
Jeff. If you don't know somebody, they could be a danger. That's logical.
Yep, that's
That-
absolutely
that's
true,
not
and
just for me.
everybody manages
That's
their
not just
own
for me. That's for everybody.
safety risk. It's not
That's
something
for
you can be
everybody.
absolutist or dogmatic about.
Right, but
It
that's for
varies with
everybody,
each
Jeff.
person.
Well, I've always said that if I had somebody actually surveilling and looking at my life, I feel very bad for them because I have other
Yeah,
very
me
people in
too.
my life.
Me too. That's.
Well, I would
I've
want to
always
know.
thought that if my life is
If there's an
devastated,
FBI agent watching me, then that is one near suicidal motherfucker right there.
Well, I think that the illusion that you're having or the problem that you're having is that you believe it's their problem that they're watching you when it's clearly
I don't
your fucking problem.
believe. I don't even think about it. So I
But
don't
all
have
right,
any,
okay.
any beliefs about it. It doesn't bother me that people are collecting data or that the government might be surveying things. It doesn't bother me at all. I've told this story before of growing up, and you could listen in on the neighbors' conversations on the cordless phone through the right radio frequency. So, like growing up, I knew that even our phone conversations weren't private if people knew how to tap into it. So it never bothered me that people had the potential to eavesdrop on my life. I never thought my life was like if they find something interesting about it, then have that. I don't think I'm that interesting. So
It
if that's
doesn't
what they want to
matter.
waste their
It
time
doesn't
doing,
matter if somebody collects information on you. They have the more of an ability to manipulate you without.
well,
you
how
knowing.
have they manipulated? They haven't. So, are you talking about advertising, like trying to sell me personalized ads? I don't even pay attention to those.
That's possibly the most mainstream level of it. Yes, but there's
Yeah,
also
I don't even
signs.
see ads. My eyes go right. I don't even look at ads. I don't. They're wasting their time.
Yeah, but they affect millions of people. Whether they affect you or not, that's not.
Well, I'm the person I have to worry about the most. So all of my opinions and positions are based on how it works in my life.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
No, they're not. You admitted
Well,
that.
I'm glad that you
admitted that
have
that's
the
not true.
expertise and authority to tell me what my own opinions are based on.
No. It's no. If we rewind the recording, you said yourself that you don't control factors in your own life. You admitted that, and you said
What
you're
does
okay with that. Not
What
only
does
that, you said
have
you're
to
okay
do
with
with
that.
the source of my positions, like my epistemology being grounded in my own experience?
You said that the only person you care about affecting your life is yourself, right?
No, I didn't word it that way. I said I'm the person that out of all the people you're talking about, you said, oh, it affects millions of people. It might not affect me. I said, well, I'm the person whose experience I have to worry about the most because that's the one I have direct access to. So if it's not affecting me, that's significant to me in my world. It doesn't matter how all these other million people are being affected. I
Yeah,
don't have
but
access to that
but-
experience. I only
but
have
you
access to
admitted-
the one that's not being affected, which is mine.
But you admitted that there's systems of power that do affect you, and you let them take control of your life for the betterment of your
But
life.
see, I don't know why you keep twisting my words this morning. Like your paraphrases are not matching what I've been saying, and people can watch the stream and verify that.
Maybe
So I don't know
not.
what's
Maybe
going on
not.
here.
Maybe not. I mean, if I have to infer into what you're saying, I'm gonna go ahead
Well,
and
let's just reset and try a different angle, or let TCPS or Chris jump in.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, if I could basically outline my position, I would say that the way I look at it is that I'm not looking and seeing like a healthy functioning system that is giving me any reason to trust it. I'm looking and I'm seeing everything imaginable right now is giving me every reason to distrust this system. The fact that, especially because I mean, this is actually something that's I have personal experience with, being shadow banned now, being suppressed online. And this is something which you could say, well, this isn't really a big deal because like this has nothing to do with the government, but these corporations pretty much have bought out the government. So, I mean, these monopolies like YouTube, like Google, that are out there collecting data on every single one of us to use against us, they're also buying out all these politicians. And it's a really, black pilling situation.
You're
It's not a
muted, Jeff.
situation that we should be at all happy with. We should be extremely concerned about it.
I don't know that these politicians are bought. That's just something you're saying. So if that's something you believe, then yes, I can see why you would be distrustful. But that's not something I buy into yet, so it doesn't lead me to the same view.
Right, but no amount of somebody trying to prove it to you would actually make you believe it, because the ultimate proof is your own beliefs.
My own experience.
Exactly. So it doesn't matter to have the discussion in the first place. Like, you shouldn't be talking about
Yeah,
ideas.
so we can move on or pick another.
Of course we can. Right.
I was commenting on
your opinions are your
position that
opinions.
he
I mean, I'm
just
not gonna.
shared.
Right. I mean, I'm not gonna try to influence your opinions. I mean, if they're
Well,
your
I mean,
beliefs and opinions,
You
I
can
mean,
try. I mean, hopefully you're
no,
wise enough by now to know.
no. I wouldn't try to do something like that. I would only speak about facts that I know about, and then talk to other people about ideas that match up with those facts. Yeah.
Well, I was responding to TCPS, but again, I'm happy to move on to something else.
Right. Oh yeah, I could. Yeah, I mean, we talk about all things. Yeah. I could talk about anything. It is what it is. But I was brought up here to talk about technology. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, that was well, I was going through these questions, and that's the one that came up. But another
Right.
one is, what emerging technology are you most excited about? Is there any technology that you do see positive potential in?
Oh yeah, like mushrooms and weed. Like, yeah,
Oh,
like,
boy.
yeah,
Man-made
okay.
stuff. I mean, you can make the argument that the strains of weed are cultivated, but
They are cultivated. Yeah, they're hybridizing new strains. Man has created excellent strains of cannabis. Yes, and excellent strains of mushrooms by crossing strains together.
so okay, that's one example, I guess.
Yeah,
Are there others?
horticulture, I guess you could say. Horticulture in certain types of plants that were not popular before, and they've become mainstream now. So there's a horticultural expansion into those, and I find that promising.
Okay, what's some of the
Because they have medicinal properties, like neem oil has medicinal properties that were just recently discovered. Cannabis oil has medicinal properties. Cannabinoids, these things are recently discovered things. So
Well, recently discovered by the West. I suspect that people
Exactly,
in
right.
parts of the world have known about them for quite a
That's
while.
right. That's right. And that's another trap of technology, isn't it? That it's gotten rid of hundreds of indigenous plants and medicines.
Yeah, but that's the issue, right? Because like for a while, up until extremely recently, we were told by the allopathic big pharma establishment that like, oh, that stuff's all snake oil, none of it works. You should only take our pills, and you shouldn't listen to what these indigenous people do because they're all savages.
Yeah, we've eliminated hundreds of species that we could have otherwise studied, and they
Yeah,
could have had.
I think we should not have done that. If I was there, I would tell them to leave those plants alone and not do that.
Of course, a great loss of technological advancement, a great loss. Yes.
Yeah.
It's not all on the positive side.
I hope that we're better now. Like now, we do it more carefully, but I don't know that we do. And if we don't, I would advocate that we do.
It's wishful.
There's more people out there that are trying now than there used to be, but at the same time, they're coming up against another authoritarian institution which has bought out our government, which is the for-profit corrupt healthcare system, the allopathic system that we've seen over the last few years just how incredibly vicious they can be, stomping out anybody who tries to cross them. So I'm not necessarily hopeful about the future with that either.
Oh, is this not live?
Yeah, me and Jeff talked our ass off here. Yeah, this is from earlier. But yeah,
I thought it was live.
Yeah, I just closed the show out. But yeah.
Not bad. I thought you were still going. I was like, damn, you're still
No,
going.
it's all good. It's all good. Yeah. I was expecting you to be here, but at some point. So it's all good. But yeah, at least we'll get like a little statement from you. You know what I mean? Which is cool. Right. But yeah, tomorrow I'll grab that show that we did yesterday from you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'll send it over to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything's good. I was just wanted to. I was like, damn, this is a good conversation. I want to jump in.
Yeah, it was crazy yesterday, yo. This Jeff conversation. This one really set a few things off, and then the one I had on the flow state one was interesting too. But yeah, this guy wanted to know the difference between science and technology. He said there was no difference. So I was trying to prove to him how technology drives science, you know. So it was interesting, you know. But yeah, you got any words of wisdom for these guys? Huh, Neural?
Yeah, sorry, I had my hands full for a second. Yeah, I like Jeff, but it is sometimes it's a very interesting experience trying to get on the same page. I did an interesting thing trying to define terms, which he was very annoying about, but it was actually useful. I wish we'd do that more often, where we just like, okay, let's try to agree on the same terms for the sake of conversation. But even that is like a pain in the ass. But yeah, I think
it gets kind of repetitive trying to define terms sometimes. The thing that helps that is history. You see the development of where those terms came from, you know.
Well, like me and Canuck had like a little bit of I don't want to, nothing negative really, but you know, I've started to understand like the way that you and Pill Eater use the term liberal. You know, the way you describe it, and I wish I had heard you guys this conversation earlier, but you know, it's so interesting how like I started, you know, adopting you guys's you know, arguments into my stuff about liberalism, and you know, I was like kind of doubting it honestly, and then you know, Dugan and Tucker did that interview, and they're like very carefully constructing a narrative about liberalism, and I was like, oh my god, you guys are like it's so. And then I saw other people commenting, other people sent me comments on Twitter about that interaction, and it's like it's just really weird how, you know, it's like the stuff kind of like gets out into the conversation on a wider scale somehow. I don't know exactly what's going on, but it's very interesting to see like we're having these little conversations, and then now the conversation's kind of spilling over into the mainstream. It's very, very strange, I would say. Very strange. Because I think that, you know, people are just taking terms like liberal or conservative and using them, however, not understanding that those terms can be applied many different ways to many different people at many different times. And like you said, that there, because most people have no clue about history, it doesn't even make sense if you try and like point it out to them. To them, it's like, and especially to people who do know about history, because they may have only seen like a certain angle of it. So it's just very strange to see how all these different conversations about the same topic just kind of go in a lot of different directions, but the theme is really the same, I guess.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like you could say evolution, and you could apply evolution to like things that, you know, have history behind them. So in a sense, evolution means history if you use it in just a sort of a parochial way. But then there's actual evolution, which is just biology. So you could actually say evolution in two ways. You could talk about epochs, and then you could, you know, so it's just passage of time, or you could talk about, you know, physical change. So it's just like liberal or Jew or any of these terms. It's like they're packed with meanings, and they kind of mean, you know, like liberal means like going easy on something, but then in another sense it's political, you know. So
Well, no, exactly, and even like the term like Christian or Muslim has now, you know, it probably
right.
always had a political connotation, but now it has like 90% political connotation when you use it. I mean, it's like it's very interesting, and I mean, I've always noticed this stuff as a kid, but I was like, you know, I guess I'm alone noticing it. Now I'm noticing that a lot of people notice it. They don't really have the language or the framework to really express what they're seeing and a lot of these terms, like you said, it's like freedom or liberal or progress or humanity, or all these things are like the postmodern stuff is really undermined epistemology. Even for me, it's like I have to make so many caveats to have a normal conversation with someone, where it's like, I don't have to, but my point is, like, I do that for a reason, and the reason I do it is to point out, like, the fact that I have to put so many caveats just to set the stage kind of lets you know, like, where we're at, because a lot of times you try to describe something and people say, well, that's your opinion and whatever. It's like, well, this is a certain angle to look at it from. That's why I wanted to jump on with what you guys are saying, because I could make a good case for what Jeff was trying to say, but I don't even think, but that's the thing, is like, I'm not picking on Jeff, but it's like, it's kind of hard. It's kind of difficult to listen when someone like is representing a position and they literally don't even care. It's kind of like the apathy is really what is driving so much of this shit. And I think that's really the problem.
I couldn't believe that he actually said that he doesn't care what happens to billions of people. I was like, oh shit. I was like, well, if it's like that, then
exactly. Then there's literally no point in arguing. And again, like, it's not picking on him or anyone else, but I think
right. I'm sure that's not just his opinion, but it's part because he can derive that, and I've seen him do it. From a complex form of ideological and dogmatic resonance, that's piled on, through centuries of culture and attitudes that seem to be, coherent, so
Well, and again, it all goes back to Nietzsche. And the thing is, everyone calls Nietzsche a nihilist, but really what he was pointing at is, like, you guys are all going to be nihilists in 100 years. And,
Right.
150 years later, here we are, and 95% of everybody is basically a nihilist. And,
check this one out, because I think you'll get a kick out of this one, because it's so short. About the definitions. This one is so useful, because he just literally says, science and technology, two different things. He goes, I don't know what you're talking about at all. It's this African guy. It's really funny.
Oh, it's a clip.
Yeah.
Bathing and brushing teeth.
Well, they weren't introduced to it. They made it, right?
No. In the 12th century, by the Moors, through Spain.
That's science. That's science. That's not technology. That's science, right?
Europeans never had mathematics. They never had paper. They never had.
Wait, did I hear Richard say that science and technology are two separate things?
They are two separate things.
That's kind of. All right, so
indigo, red. Europeans never had that.
Hang on. I want to come for this guy. So how is science and technology separate?
There's
like,
a such
you
thing
realize
as
you get technology because you have science, meaning
technology. Technology is not only applied science, but technology rules over science in terms of it decides what type of science we can do. So technology rules over science. They're distinct.
No, that doesn't make sense, mate.
Yeah, that makes no sense. Without science, you don't have the technology. So that makes no sense.
Yeah, they had science for hundreds of years before they had technology.
No, they didn't. Fire is a technology. It's like you keep saying things, but I'm kind of missing where the logic is. Fire is a technology.
Fire is a technology here.
Bro, I think you misunderstood something, right? Science and technology go hand in hand, right?
Science
fire and technology, bro.
Hold on.
Stick to the question.
You could do research in math, right? You could figure out like math and shit, and you don't have to make technology based off of it. You could have knowledge that's not linked to like technology.
No, that's not how it works.
That is how it works. That is how it works. Not only that, but technological discoveries allow you to have new scientific.
Math is a technology. I think you kind of misunderstand something. Numerical reasoning is a technology.
No, hold on. The applied sciences, right? If you apply science, right, the application of knowledge, that's technology. Science is not the application of knowledge, sir. It's just gaining knowledge. It's just knowledge.
No,
It's
technology has
static
got nothing
information.
to do with applying anything, right? Technology is simply something that
Technology
gives
is literally defined as the application of knowledge.
Yeah,
How
no,
does
no,
that
no,
not
no.
make sense
Listen,
to
mate,
you?
mate, you can make fire without understanding the principles of fire. If you want to have advanced technology, then you need knowledge behind it. Technology is just leverage.
You just said it.
Right?
You just said it. You could make fire without understanding the principles of fire. You have technology without science, without the knowledge of how you got it.
Mate, this is circular, right?
You just made the distinction yourself. I don't
There's
understand
no
what you're missing.
contradiction. I'm making a qualitative argument. You're making a quant argument that is incorrect, right? Science, right, is a foundation of all modern advanced technology. However, you can have
You just made a
either
distinction
without
between
the other.
science and technology. You just made a distinction between science and technology.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, and
Mate,
that's very.
We got you on that one, Kaizo.
No. What you're saying is right. You're not making
am I dreaming?
Yeah, no.
You're not making a substantive difference, right? The point is,
You said it's
you can
the
always make a
foundation of the
separation.
technology, not the technology itself. You just said it.
No.
You just made the distinction, sir.
It's not
And
a
you said it didn't
substantive distinction. That's the point. I think you don't seem to understand, right? It's not substantive.
Yeah, that was
funny.
that was incredible, and I think first of all, I think people use a lot of words that they don't understand the meaning of, and I always think that I'm doing that too. So like I try not to pick on people for that, but like he literally just made the distinction and said, "I didn't make the distinction." It's like, okay,
yeah,
just arguing for the sake of arguing at that point.
Right.
White people
So-
never had any science or any technology. I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, I guess you could try to argue that, but I mean, that's a very strange historical argument to make. But I mean, I don't even know that the Moors were black. First of all, I mean, there's a lot of pictures of Moors that are like red-haired, you know, Egyptian-looking people or some shit. I don't know. Like, you know, even the whole "We Was Kings" thing, like, wasn't Tutankhamun like red-haired, you know, inbred? I mean, that part you can believe he's a white dude, right? So I mean,
they've falsified history 100%. But yeah, this conversation's funny because I get them to admit to this, just the basic technological skepticism. You know, not you know, and because they said it compared it to technological nihilism. And I said, I don't even understand that one, right? Technological nihilism. What would that even be, right?
well, that's it. That's the funny thing, and like, I haven't even listened to this conversation, but like, just a little bit I heard from Jeff, I'm like, in my opinion, he's definitely taken a nihilistic position. But then he says, well, your skepticism is nihilistic. It's like, okay. I mean,
Yeah, that is a little bit what he says. Yeah, it's interesting, and it's the first time I heard the term technological nihilism, like as like, you know, described as, you know, he's like pathologizing.
I mean, there definitely is an argument for it. I mean, I could make a very strong case just if I have my own definition of it, because, you know, trying to put the brakes on whatever technological trajectory we're on, I mean, it is going to be very painful unless there's some sort of real plan that they have that they are trying to implement, which I guess that is possible. I do keep that on the table, but I mean, yeah, it does look very glum if you look at just the trajectory we're on. I mean, and it's kind of weird, like not to totally jump around, but because I want to listen to what they say, but I think, you know, the whole Tucker Dugan thing, if you haven't watched it, like I want to say it's not even really worth watching, except for the fact that it's like, it's kind of weird how they kind of like, well, really Dugan does all the talking, which is interesting, number one. And number two, he's like directly talking about transhumanism and post human optional is what he calls it, technological situation, I guess. But it's really weird because like he never says directly that he's against it. number one, and number two, he just kind of chalks it up to, well, that's the woke, liberal, progressive situation, and it's more complex than that. Pill Eater did a better job of, because he kind of understands more of like the alleged foundations of his beliefs, I guess, but at least on a political level. But it's kind of it's just very weird when you hear people kind of describe it, because it is kind of like weird how like they are trying to sell us like a very pessimistic future, but at the same time they're like, but we got to hit the gas pedal because that's the only way we're going to avoid the collision. But then at the same time they're like, we need the masses to get off of fossil fuels and carbon, which, you know, is a very thinly veiled, you know, we just need less people around. So I don't know. I think it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird how like we kind of got to pump the brakes. We kind of got to hit the gas pedal, and there's no one in control. Don't worry. But at the same time, like, just trust us. We got it, and go to work and do your job. And don't worry about the fact that, you know, your dollar's worth 100 times less than what it was, you know, 100 years ago. And, you know, it's just very strange situation. And like anybody who's not, and this is not a dig at Jeff or anybody. I'm just saying, like, anybody who's not open to the idea of like skepticism, I mean, around technology, is like, I just don't understand how, like, why would you even be resistant to that? Like, of course you would have to have some level of skepticism. I mean, it doesn't even mean that any person or individual is doing something nefarious. I mean, it's just more like, you know, things are changing very quickly, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and if you'll observe the beginning of this show, I laid down a couple arguments that I feel are interesting against progress and against innovation. So I think that that's important things to come across, you know, and that goes to a bigger picture of dwelling in an ethos of change. You know what I mean? That's centered around the notion of change and evolution, you know, and these kind of concepts. And, you know, this is kind of a fundamental thing that kind of clouds our judgment in terms of thinking about what's to come and how much control and volition we have and responsibility we have in what's to come. And
Yeah,
people
that
seldom
word
take it.
volition, sorry to interrupt you. That word volition is so important. I mean, when I was writing legal documents, you know, the word volition is like one of the most important words you can possibly write in a legal document. You know, like, in my opinion, I mean, you know, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm just saying, like, in my opinion, like, that word volition, I mean, it's basically what people kind of think of as free will. And I just, you know, I think people just take, like you said, some certain concepts like progress or change just so for granted that, you know, well, things are just always must be through a constant thing of change. And I think it was you or somebody else, I'm pretty sure it was you, who mentioned the fact that you know, like in Greek societies, like they deliberately stop the progress of technology in order to, you know, uh, stop changing their society too quickly, right? Like, you know, they would kind of take measures to stop progress to some degree, right? And that seems like totally, and I think it was the Greeks, it might have been somebody else, it's another group of people, but I'm almost certain that there was a trend in the ancient world of, in certain locations at least, that they purposefully stifled innovation. And
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, definitely in China too. The
yep,
Taoist king Shen Nung had this kind of tendency. You know, he would wear hemp sandals and just kind of, you know, promote simplicity. Like the whole tea ceremony kind of comes from him and stuff. You know, it's kind of like, you know, but yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. And I think that that's the thing, is like people, at least in the West, but really I think even in the East, they have just become so busy and FOMO'd, as you always say, I think that they don't realize that humans have definitely lived in a very different state of mind. And even like, it's so weird, like to see this whole, like the natives of America or the natives of Australia or the natives of the Pacific Islands, like, you know, a lot of, like, when I was younger, a lot of the talk about those civilizations was really about their way of life and their view of time and space and history and all these things, which is very different from the linear progressive way that we look at things. And I think you can make an argument that probably most societies did not view things in a progressive linear fashion really at all. And I think that this is also one thing where people look at the Bible and they try to, you know, embed a linear timeline thing into it. And I don't necessarily know that that's a part of the Bible. I think a lot of people are kind of projecting that into the Bible. And I know that's a kind of a weird statement to put it, to put out there, but I'm not quite sure that everything in the Bible is directly, like a linear progressive story. I mean, yes, the Old Testament is, but also like there's definitely reoccurring themes within the writing, right? And Christians like admit this all the time. So, I think that there's something to that too. And I can't say that I understand exactly what it means, but I'm just saying that, this kind of constant, I mean, I guess Nietzsche said it too. What do you call it? The perpetual regression, or what does he call it? Eternal regression or something.
Eternal recurrence.
There you go. Yeah, and I never really have fully understood what he meant by that, because I've heard so many. I think from my understanding, you've probably said about the most accurate, or maybe I think I've heard Johnny say something that was kind of similar, but I can't really remember. But I've heard a lot of other people give totally different opinions on what he was referring to. But what, if you don't mind me asking, what do you think he was trying to get into with that? Like, what do you think he was referring to? Because I can't remember what you said.
Well, it's a little bit of the Stoic concept that's taken from Heraclitus. This thing about how Heraclitus says the road up and the road down is the same. So I believe it's in Thus Spoke Zarathustra, where he explains this thing about this. I guess Zarathustra like gets up and sees this gnome, and this gnome is talking about like how like history is a drag and like all this shit, and like how like like you have to like prepare for things, and like he doesn't like work and stuff. So Zarathustra like points up this mountain and he's like, you fucking dumb troll, like you're fucking scared of the future, but you don't understand, like if you go up this road you come out the same way, like it's just a fucking recurrence of the same moment until you have to face your fate.
It sounds like somebody's been on mushrooms. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, so he's like, so he puts this fucking gnome on his back and he takes him up the road because he's like too afraid to face his future, which is really the same as his past. So he's trying to cut out this concept of futurism. He's saying you have to face the same moment until that like there's no such thing as cause and effect. Right?
So it sounds like Groundhog Day or Taoism, kind of in a way.
Look at this stupid bitch, Grifto Jew alchemist. Let me cut this fucking guy out of here. Anyways, we're done here, folks. We'll fucking figure out what you guys want later. Yeah. Yeah, I can't believe you're so persistent, you little bitch. Right? Why don't you go and go suck off with your little sycophantic friends, anyways, Have a blessed night, everyone. Thank you, Neuro, for joining this last minute.
Yeah, no problem.
And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. And yeah, anything else you got for him?
Don't be like the people that are acting very oddly in the chat. In my please, that's so that, just don't be those people, whatever they are. Just don't be like them.
And definitely don't. Whoops. Oh shit. Sorry about that, folks. And definitely don't practice Freemasonry or alchemy. I accidentally stepped on my keyboard there. So I just kind of, yeah, blessings. Yeah, suck a goat. Grifto. Have a nice night, everyone else. Peace. And yeah, check out my shit.
I mean, like I said, like I'm a techno optimist. I don't feel like there's any advantage of being otherwise, because like being a pessimist about it just kind of like sets you up for like getting controlled by it. Where at least if you look at it from an optimistic perspective, you can try to be proactive in trying to learn to adapt and use the technology in our favor, because like I said, there's no going back. So no matter how much we there might be advantages in this idea of like trying to go back to nature or something like that, it's not going to happen. So
I think people should go back to whatever level of technology they're comfortable with. If they want to live on the land with a well and an outhouse, I think they should do that. If they want the modern conveniences, I think they should do that too. Like, I think each individual should determine their level of comfort.
I mean, I look at things like music production and making music these days, or like the abilities we have to create art and everything they're available to all of us now. That not that long ago were really, I mean, like to be able to record an album or something like that, the quality we can in our house is better quality than they could even in the 60s and like the studios and stuff like that. Like we have amazing technology that gives us access to so much possibility that we didn't have. But it's up to us to take control of that and use it and make sure and fight back against people that'll use it for
And
evil.
I think we do, like we are more or less, we can be trusted to do that historically.
Well, there's a total loss of skills in terms of music. People have like lost like ability to play musical instruments. There's musical instruments that are just gone now, like that nobody even knows. That like people are rediscovering like musical instruments and shit. So we've possibly lost music through technological expansion. Music that we'll never hear again. And also it's just like the plants. And then on the other end, I don't understand how less knowledge of something would make you more in control of it.
I don't either. I think more knowledge is always good.
That's kind of what Chris said, right? He said,
no, I didn't say less knowledge. I was saying I think we need to learn it better. We need to adapt and learn the technology better and use it better than the people that we use.
Well, isn't adapting to technology though allowing it to control you? It's like you're changing yourself.
No, that's the same thing about your physical environment.
There you go. That's right. Trad made a good point there. That was a good ass point.
Now I don't
know how it's different from any other environment you have to adapt to. Social, physical, technological.
Just because you adapt to using something
that we as organisms have to adapt to. I don't know how technology is any different, other than it's self-evolving.
Like if you learn to drive, so you're saying if I learn to drive a car, like your car controls me now?
Well, I live in the South, and in the
this
South,
stream controls us, obviously.
Like in down here, the result of everybody driving cars has been that their lives are completely dominated by the need to have a car, and their lives become incredibly difficult if they don't. So yeah, I would say that your car does control you.
It is true to like a lot of people have pointed that out. You know, Chris.
I don't call that control.
Well. Say you figured out like all the components of a car, how it works, right? You were skeptical about using it, and then finally one day you used it. You know, like how would you be less in control of the situation that way?
I would be more in control of my ability to get where I need to go. It gives me more power.
But what I just said, right? Allowing yourself to be skeptical to the point of gaining the most amount of knowledge and then using the thing. How is that bad?
It's not.
I never said it was bad.
Well, then how is technological skepticism a bad thing?
I never said it. I said I think it's good that we have skeptics.
Yeah, no, I never said I wasn't skeptical either. I said I was an
I
optimist,
agree.
not a
I agree with you then. You know, I agree. Yeah, we need more technological. We need more technological skeptics. Yes.
Monologues, facial acne scar, and orthopedic headgear. Let your battery charger think you need a rest here. Or give a candy bar to the engineer so your vocals come out in the final mix. Final skip at your performance, but it just ride a brainwave and you're failing to exist. You can't hide in the main stage. You put you on the manliness. So what are you doing here? You're a girl with breast reduction, acting like she said something.
Only a few sound true. Me and the crew know who. This isn't singular, it's plural.
You ain't really real, I can tell when I look at you.
Only a few sound true. Me and the crew know who. This isn't singular, it's plural. Me and the crew know who.
Sun got sun shines over all of y'all. There's more than Black Hawks down in Somalia. Military skill, visionary. The number of dead served MCs will vary. Different sizes, forms, and shapes. If they're not surprised to be informed by a tape, they're not knowing that hip-hop's growing into the next boxing. To max toxins, glistening to the missiles of the sound, whistling and listening the system of a down. Or medians, pour over the medium, and the Taurus centaurs, I'm not needing them. Stare down the gun with one wins. Now that I roll with confidence, I'm convinced. Ow! It's my turn to be a star. Fuck with me, I'll burn the flag on your core.
Without booze till I show good signs to be verbally active. There's something about records and titles and I'm breaking and snatching. Your help is like a better wife choking on a knuckle sandwich. I got niggas so scared they won't say my name in sign language.
Only a few sound true. Me and the crew know who. This isn't singular, it's plural.
You ain't really real, I can tell when I look at you.
Only a few sound true. Me and the crew know who. This isn't singular, it's plural.